6:30. I'm going to call the July 16th Town Council meeting to order, and please rise and join me in the pledge. And afterward, we will have a moment of silence. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, we'll have the roll call. Thank you.
Roger Hammer.
I am here.
Bruce Brown. Kevin Ritchie. Here. Jeffrey Van Hoy.
Here.
Desiree Payton.
Yes.
All present.
We are all here. All right. Approval of minutes. Was everybody here for both meetings? Okay, so we'll take them separate, okay? Start with the special meeting minutes. Any updates? Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to approve the special town council meeting minutes,
June 25th.
June 25th.
All right, we have a motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? One abstention. Jeffrey. All right, now the regular council meeting minutes from the 18th.
I'll make the motion that we approve the,
Sorry, there is one adjustment. I forgot.
okay.
So the, in the section, we don't have page numbers, okay. Next to last page, the top full paragraph, under the vote for Turpin Consulting, that shows that it passed. We actually did not get a second.
Mm-mm.
That's incorrect. No, it's in the regular meeting. So it says that we had a roll call vote. My memory is that we did not get a second.
I remember at the special, we didn't get a second.
We didn't get a second at the regular meeting either.
We have not re-voted on it.
I'll go back and listen to it and check
Yeah,
and fix it.
yeah. So that needs to be corrected. So I know it did not pass. That's my. We may bring it back, but we'll wait for the moment. Okay, so with that amendment,
Yeah, I'll make the motion that we approve the June 18th, 2026 regular town council meeting minutes with the amendment provided by President Hammer.
I will second that.
all right, we have motion second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed. Thank you. And you're gonna have the police report tonight a little early.
Oh, it's not working up there. So they just see this? Technical difficulties. Since our last meeting,
Didn't come up. Oh, it's not gonna work? I got it. Go ahead.
sorry
Go
guys,
ahead.
about 1,070 hours of patrol hours. 21 arrests. I'm really sad that you can't see this because it's really nice. She worked really hard on making this. Hopefully you can see a little bit of it. 9 DUIs, guys. I'm super proud of our officers when it comes to DUIs, especially because in the ranking, last time I seen the ranking in our countywide, the top 5 officers, 2 of them are right here in Knightstown. So I'm super proud of that. The guys, you know, we talk about blinders. You know, some guys drive around with blinders. Not Knightstown Police Department. We don't. Drug arrest 5. A wanted person, several traffic offenses 4, and some animal problems for a total of about 47 charges. This is where the not being up there really hurts us, but we have some pictures of some of the bigger drug arrests we've had here. We had, in one case, literally a trunk full of drugs. And these drugs include everything that you can think of, all the meth, heroin, of course, marijuana. And we're not talking little marijuana. We get a lot of flack for allegedly having we don't have small marijuana arrests. These are huge things. So with pounds. One of our more recent arrests also had a lot of money with it too. So super proud of the work that our guys are doing. About 187 incidents that we've responded to, including we've had a couple of really interesting cases. One was a rollover, truck rolled over several times, and our officers, myself and Officer Bodkin, and this is an example of Officer Bodkin is an EMT as well as a police officer, and he and I were the first on scene, and he was able to provide care for a pretty bad injury there, stop bleeding. So I'm super proud of him. And of course, I don't know if you guys heard, we had a person that was experiencing a crisis and was considering going over the bridge at 109 and 70, and we were able to talk him down from that. So it's more than just chasing bad guys out there. About 379 traffic stops. 32 security checks. Now, the security checks are, a lot of you know, but maybe some don't. In the evenings, usually, we'll actually go and check out the buildings, make sure the door's locked, make sure everything looks good, leave a little note behind that we were there. So security checks are really popular. 7 escorts. The Knightstown Police Department is proud. We're honored to participate in escorting the funerals from the different funeral homes in our area. Some updates. The council voted that we would donate our old body cameras. Our old body cameras are not very good, but Carthage uses the same body cameras. And since we're not getting any use out of them, we're going to donate those to Carthage. Our reserve officer hiring process, something we're doing different now. A couple of things we do different with our reserve officer hiring process. Something that myself and Officer Patrick and Officer Branham are doing. We are doing the same hiring standards physically for our reserve officers as we do for our full-time officers. So to that end, Thursday, I believe it was, we did a hiring process, and you'll see a couple of our guys from that. And everybody's loving it, so we're loving participating. The officers, our guys who are existing officers are participating in it. Yes, I hurt myself running a little bit, but it's fun, and it shows the guys that we're doing it too. We're participating in that, and it lets us kind of see what we're getting, kind of trying before we buy them type thought. So, another thing we do different is we've been only hiring from existing reserve officers throughout the central Indiana in our area. So people who already have experience as reserve police officers. So the past couple of hiring processes, that's what we've been doing. So, yeah, it's working out. Again, I wish you could see some of these pictures. So this is just a bunch of us out there working out. We go out to the intermediate school. We've done this probably 5 or 6 times since I've been chief, where we just go out there and have some camaraderie and sweat a little bit. And this is pictures of Kyler and some of the other guys working out. Ronnie, where were you? You weren't here? Oh, he was sick that day. Yeah. Yeah. We could. It's hard doing with Ronnie? Yeah. There it is again. So to that end, we have a couple of reserve officers here that I'd like to present to the council to consider hiring. Potential officer Kyler Grant and John Pulaski. Will you guys stand up? You guys like to talk with them? Step over, Kyler.
Tell us about yourself.
Yeah, I'm Kyler Grant. Me and my fiance Ava live in Richmond, so I work at the Wayne County Sheriff's Office. I'm a correctional sergeant. I have been for about 1.5 years now. I'm also an infantryman in the National Guard, so would love to be here. I'm from a small town, about 400 people, so I love and I thrived in a place being from in a community where everybody knows everybody. I feel like I can engage a community and relate to that community in a lot of retrospect. So again, would love to be here.
What small town is that?
So I'm actually from Ohio. So I'm from El Dorado, Ohio. It's just a town surrounded by cornfields. We got one main street and about 400, maybe 415 people on a good day. So it's very small, but I love growing up
I
there.
don't understand the town with cornfields all around.
Right. Yeah.
All right. Any other questions for me? Okay, thank you.
Hey, thank you.
How you doing?
Hi.
My name is John Pawelski. I've been a law enforcement officer in this county for a little over 15 years. I work for Cadiz PD, Middletown, and the Sheriff's Office. When Chief Davis got promoted, we started talking a little bit. I'm a certified crime prevention specialist. I presented nationally in several different states for crime prevention, community engagement, things like that, as well as the experience of having several years of patrol. So just got talking to Chief Davis and see if they have some spots open, and here I am.
So what makes you want to be a reserve?
I own a few businesses, so I do not have time to be a full-time officer. I have graduated to full-time police academy, and like I said, I've been commissioned for a little over 15 years. So.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thanks,
Yes,
John.
sir.
And they were both presented in the police committee meeting. They both have the pre-basic, the 40-hour pre-basic, so essentially, they can start training. John needs to just get updated on the training that our Knightstown officers have received so far in this year, then he will be up to go out and start his field training program. So, that's important. We're not taking the time to do that. They have that training, and
I'll make a motion that we accept both candidates for hiring for the reserve department.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you,
Welcome.
council, thank you.
And John, is your last name, hey, John, is your last name spelled Pawelski? Okay.
So we just participated in a 3-day event of training, and we did incur a little bit of overtime. We talked about that in the police committee meeting, just a little bit. But this is, every police officer has to accomplish about 24 hours of mandated training every year. So we just wrapped that up last week. So we do have a few stragglers, other things to meet, but we're in really good position for all of our officers to accomplish that. I'm an instructor. I'm a certified instructor through the police academy, and I handle most of that. But yeah. And this was a collaboration we did with a lot of the other small towns around us, too. So I taught some of their guys taught our guys, and yeah, worked out really well. So we have a crisis intervention training. This year, they're only putting on one. I went to that a couple years ago. Officer Day went to it, but they're only putting on one this year, so we're sending Officer Branham, and that'll be in, I believe it's in August, right? August. So that'll be something coming up. And we'll use our reserves to fill that spot while Officer Branham's gone. It's a 3-day event, I believe, 3 or 4 days. I think all the council members received information about the new cars. We've been talking about new car situation. We have 2 cars that have over 100,000 miles. They're getting towards the end of their life, and we've had some reliability issues. So we've sent, Faye and I have looked at, and Roxanne have looked at potential car purchases. We've kind of narrowed it down. The Durangos, I'm just not happy with them. I want to discontinue using them moving forward. Just have, and
Or what are the cars that are getting old?
we have a Charger and a Durango. They just had the Durangos have had a lot of problems, just nationwide. The state police actually, I think, sued Dodge over the Durangos, and so we're just gonna move away from them.
By General Motors.
No, it's not on the list here.
You each have 3 quotes. One is a Charger, one is in Inceptor, and then one is an F-150.
And the one that's labeled Interceptor is what we know as the Explorer, the Ford Explorer.
Is this something you're hoping we would purchase tonight? Or
Not necessarily. I think that Just kind of
I think it's like an end of the year, an end of the year
That's good.
sort of project, and if it happens between then, you know,
Great.
yep.
that way,
We talked about budget and everything.
yes.
Yes. Bart and I actually sat down tonight before the meeting to just kind of look things over. We have several smaller funds that are for the police that Janet has highly encouraged us to spend up and use that money. So we've got several smaller funds there, and then we do have some left over in our riverboat fund that we could use from. So we do have the funds to cover it, and when you guys decide what car and we can get a quote for the light package and stuff, we also have that, enough for that fund as well.
So would it require Riverboat to do this, or can we fund it outside of that?
better, probably to use a little bit of riverboat. The good thing is it's, riverboat's probably the most flexible.
Right, that's why I'd like to hold on to it. But, okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you. We recently were invited and chose to participate in Shirley's Freedom Festival Parade, and it's a huge success. It was really nice to participate in that, be invited to it, and the guys well volunteered to participate in that. And so it was just, like I said, just a nice event to participate in. So we appreciate you affording us that opportunity. Of course, we all know the Jubilee Days is coming up, and we're excited to be part of that. I want everybody to know that the police department's, we've been talking about it for months, and we're going to be there in force and have a nice turnout.
Are you doing anything special there, or just?
I think we're definitely going to have the mule out there. We're going to have it's a ride-along thing, not a real mule. We're going to have the mule out there, which, I recently.
Lights might be fun.
That might be fun. But and also, speaking of the mule, I installed an integrated system so that it starts every time. So now we have a chargers on it, so it's always ready to go. So that was a fun project. But just being there and interacting with the public, I'll have Denver out.
John, I'll get with you about the parade
Okay.
later.
Yeah, we're excited to participate in that.
I knew you would be.
Absolutely. We had Roxana and Faye and our mule at the Freedom Festival, so Roxana got to learn how to drive the. I'm not going to say it wasn't without its hiccups.
A little bit of one, yes.
Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for letting me go first and early.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Enjoy your event.
Yes, thank you. I'm rushing off to Will's awards banquet for track.
All right, next up, Glen Cove Heritage Foundation Cemetery Advisory Board. Quite a name.
Hello.
Hi.
Stephanie White from the Glen Cove Advisory Board, and we have a proposal tonight, and there are two, and I've got one for Greg too. If you'll take one of each of those, please. And I want to kind of walk through that. So I think, as all of you are aware, there's been some staffing changes that have taken place lately, and the cemetery is currently pretty much down to a part-timer who will be leaving for college here shortly. So he's my grandson, so I'm like, he has to go to college. He's not allowed to stay. He's a great kid. But so with that being said, we thought this would be a good opportunity, given our gap in personnel right now, to present to you guys that it was a good time to evaluate what really is the most long-term, reliable, and cost-effective option for how to operate the cemetery going forward, because the staffing has kind of been a problem for a while, off and on, through over the years. So we have a recommended proposal page, and if anybody, I have extras of those, if anybody, I didn't know if anybody else needs them or wants them, but you guys can have those there. So anyway, there's kind of 5 parts to this, and I thought we would walk through it. So what we're really recommending, first off, is that we transition the physical operations and the maintenance of the cemetery from a town-employed staffing model to a contracted service model. And kind of our goal there is we really feel this will bring stability to the operations by allowing the services that are needed to be blended in with a bigger operation. The town would no longer have to be responsible for the hiring, supervision, scheduling, and employee coverage. We would no longer be reliant on just 1 or 2 individuals realistically, but we'd have access to a team. The seasonal imbalance of workload has been a little costly, we think, to the town. So, there's a lot more work in the summer than there is in the winter, for sure. So we feel like the town bears the cost of that full-time staffing, even when the workloads are reduced. So an outside contractor would likely be able to balance that workload. We believe this option would provide consistent operations, better accountability, be less burdensome on the town, and hopefully end up being a cost savings. I don't know that piece yet, but that would be first. So the second point in my proposal would be that we authorize a 90-day interim agreement with a qualified local contractor. And we do have a qualified current contractor in mind for the 90-day interim, which would be JDE Maintenance. And they have done some work out at the cemetery before and have already provided some quotes. And that would obviously be subject to legal and procurement requirements. But we want to make sure there's no interruption to the cemetery operations. So JDE Maintenance is currently familiar with the cemetery. They have a good reputation, and they're willing to help during this time. They are here to answer questions after I'm done, if you guys have specific questions. But what we would do with that 90 days is that would be time for us to actually document all of the actual work that needs to take place, develop standards of what we expect. Some cemeteries have higher expectations than others on what it looks like. Inventory all of the town-owned equipment and decide what makes sense that would need to be owned, leased, or retained. Calculate the cost of the town, or calculate the cost of the town versus the outsourced model to make sure this actually does make sense. We want to evaluate the actual contractor cost, establish permanent admin structure, and issue a competitive solicitation. Or put that, a nice RFP together that would allow us to bid this over time, because this is not something we take lightly and think should just be done tomorrow. We need to take 90 days to really evaluate it. So the third item of that is establish a part-time cemetery administrator coordinator function, which we estimate is about 10 to 20 hours a week. And that position needs to manage the grave sales, the records, the cemetery software, which we have put a lot of effort and money into making sure is up current, and we don't want to see that go backwards. Family and funeral home communications and contractor coordination. That's kind of the probably the grayest area here. We estimate that's 10 to 15 hours a week. Whether that should long-term be outsourced or not be outsourced is something I think that needs to be evaluated over the 90 days, and something you guys need to talk about, because that would involve the records of the town, and we understand that piece. So currently, the functions are maintained by the town. If we do that in the long run, who's going to handle until a replacement is hired and trained? Who's going to train them, since our person who was handling all of that is no longer here? So that is something I feel like we need to talk about. We would love to see the chapel be used for that service and that function. We think it's a good use of the chapel. It brings some more exposure to it. It's small. I believe it used to be used for some point. We understand there'd be some small additional expenses. You would have to get internet out there. And really...
It was quite expensive, I believe. We closed it back when I was on the council.
Really?
Because it was very expensive to heat and cool.
To heat and cool. And that is, I do not know that number, and to me, that's...
Problem. I don't know if we even have that data anymore. It's been quite a while.
Okay, so that would be part of what I think we would have to evaluate over time. But we would love to see the chapel be used. It's a beautiful place, and it's right there. People would be able to access it easily. Again, we would like to take the 90 days to kind of figure that out. But so item 3 there is kind of the biggest piece that we have to decide on how that would be handled during the 90 days. But we really don't want things to go backwards, because I feel like we've made a lot of progress there.
So would that person be available kind of on call?
Well, there's a
need for, you said funeral home coordination, things like that. Is that during a burial time that's needed, or?
We already know how to use it. Katie and I have been using it. We used it the whole time Lisa was off with her father.
Used it? What do you mean?
The software.
Yeah, I wasn't asking
We've been
about the
maintaining the
software.
software and
I
stuff
get it.
like that.
I wasn't asking about the software. I was asking about the coordination.
who answers the calls from the customers,
That's all.
handles all of
That's
those
during the
kind of
day,
things.
Yes,
Okay,
that's been all of us.
okay.
Yeah, and I am not familiar with what all everybody's been handling. I know that Lisa was our main contact, has been on the cemetery board. She's the one that worked with the legacy group in getting that up and running. So I think there's a couple ways we could tackle that. If Lisa is an option, she could be looked at, it could be contract for 90 days, something like that, just to keep things smooth while then it's determined whether it's officially turned over to the town or whether it makes sense to outsource. Because I think part of that also depends on, if you guys are agreeable to this proposal, what company we end up with in the long term as to who makes sense to be the outside contractor, and whether we would want those functions handled that way. So that one's something I think that's got to be considered. Number 4 is during that 90-day interim period, we would like to develop and issue a competitive solicitation for a longer-term program, which I kind of talked about just a little bit there. We would need some assistance from the board with that process, which Desiree has sat on our board, so she's pretty familiar. And Bart, we would need your assistance in helping to make sure that we understood all the economics, what actually have been the true expenses for the town versus what would go on. And during that 90 days, that would allow us also to capture, this should be kind of a peak season time at the cemetery with all the yard and everything, so we would be able to see what the outsourced costs are actually running. And then at the end, we would return to the board after the 90 days and with the evaluation, and we would have an official recommendation for you guys with actual cost and all those kind of things. We're just not comfortable sharing that without taking 90 days to really sit and evaluate this process. So the second piece of paper I gave you is kind of just, it's a very big draft, which would be what that long-term operating model would look like on what we would see. And it's really 2 pieces, because you really have the field operations, which is the mowing and the trimming and the burial preparation and the digging of the graves. And then you have the administrative side of the coin. And I think both of those would have to be evaluated, you know, separately and uniquely. So that's kind of the idea that we have, and how, and unanimously, we did take a vote at our last meeting. We are all kind of in favor of this. We just think it would bring some stability long-term, and kind of take some headaches off of this. You know, the cemetery is a beautiful place, and we want to see it stay that way. So happy to answer any questions or thoughts or talk through any more of it and get your feedback.
So I received a quote from Linda. So I had that printed. Everybody's got that here. So
The JDE maintenance,
Yes.
this one. Yeah, these are
a little
his,
different than that, but I assume it's the same.
they're probably the same, close to.
So I guess the question is, we're at a point where we need to decide. We have some other business around hiring a town manager tonight, so. At first, personally, I was thinking maybe we should wait till we get a town manager in, but there's a lot of other things to deal with. So 90 days might be a good period to figure out if we really want to do this or not. So I do have some questions if we want to talk about the offer, the contract. So for services, I believe we do not require 3 bids, is that true?
Professional services, if you consider these professional services, yes.
Would you consider them professional services? No? Okay.
Lots of people have landscaping and mowing,
Okay.
those kinds of
So
things.
you're saying it's
You should.
unique professional
Yes,
services?
so there's a statute that talks about things like architects, engineers, lawyers,
Okay,
accountants,
got it.
realtors,
Thank you.
et cetera.
Good
They
clarification.
classify those as professional services.
Okay.
Now, we assumed this would need to go out for official bid, and that's not just a give me kind of thing, but we did feel like there was an immediate need to get some solution in place.
I would just say, if you think there's an emergency, then that can allow a deviation from the purchasing policy. But
I mean, we are in a place where we have no,
I'm not arguing, I'm
nobody's
just
doing
saying,
the job,
that's a
right?
consideration.
Probably
Right.
is.
Okay,
But these people, the contractor, whether it's, again, employees or a contractor, would need to be under your supervision and control. So that, because you own the ground
Yep,
and you're
I agree.
responsible for it. And the advisor group has done great work and gives you lots of suggestions, but at the end of the day, you are
still under
responsible
our
for implementing.
town supervision, right?
Right.
Yeah, and the contractual agreement's really with you guys. Yeah,
Exactly.
we're just making a recommendation.
Jacob, you want to come on up and maybe we can just talk a minute?
All right.
The 90-day thing, I think, is a good idea to track on, really to know how much time it takes to do everything. You know, so like numbers that I've turned in are purely estimates. They could be a lot less. But, you know, until we get in there and do the work, I figured we would document the work well, so then we know how long everything actually takes. You know, to trim that place, it took 8 guys 10 hours. And that's not stopping. That's me there the whole time. You know, now we were moving some lights around and things like that. You know, but that's trying to do it all at once. You know, so I think, you know, the way that we would section it out is the guys mow it, they trim it. You mow it, you trim it. You know, and we'll set it up on a schedule on a way that I think that would work. Not just for us, but, you know, you'll have all this information in 90 days. of how to maintain it and a schedule. So it could be maintained this way by anybody, as long as we built a plan for it. So we don't necessarily even have to do it after the 90 days, but then we would get an idea of cost, of what it actually takes. And then you could take our numbers and compare them to your guys' budget numbers, and then you would know, hey, it's cheaper to have this contracted out, or it's, hey, if we stick to this plan, we can do it. And in that time, if you find the people that, that are willing to stay and do it. So it's just the 90-day thing, I think, is great to get information on how to maintain a cemetery. So
I, now that you've talked about a 90-day period, I kind of like this better than I did when I first heard it. Particularly because we're gonna bring in a town manager, I think, and that person's got other things to really spend time on. Whether we decide to continue after 90 days or not is, something we could decide. The one, and I know we're gonna go, sounds like we'll move to a competitive bid if we do this after 90 days, but your proposal has a range of cost.
totally
It's
estimated.
not fixed, and there's no hourly rate, so I'm a little struggling a little bit with an open-ended.
So we
It may
do-
cost more, it may cost less, but I don't know what the rates are.
So we have turned in an hour, an over.
We don't have that, or that I'm.
Yeah.
aware of.
This was turned in several meetings ago.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's your standard rate sheet.
Yeah, so,
Okay,
if you wanted to break it down hourly.
Can I see that? I don't
Yeah.
remember what those were.
However, so to give you an idea of an hourly rate, the town will always lose on an hourly rate, and I can explain that real quick. We quoted that at $1,700 to trim that, right? What, $35 an hour, which is a standard rate that we would pay our guys, at 80 hours to trim that without stopping, that's $2,800. So there's $1,100 in savings by a lump
Good for a
sum.
fixed price.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that you gave us a variable price with no hourly rate, so although I forgot you had hourly rates.
So how?
These are obviously quite a bit more than what you just said.
So where that sheet came from today was, hey, a few days ago, this was kind of an idea, and it was really just to show a budget number.
Mhm.
But now from the outside looking in, your guys' budget to take care of that cemetery is almost $20,000 a month. So that's your budget.
Our current budget?
Yes. From
Can't
2020.
imagine we have 240,000 or even 160,000.
You have 145 from 2025, but that was just with one employee there. So
We know generally what we pay, so. I'm guessing
That's
it's
what we're
more like
sitting here talking about.
yeah. So
I kind of guesstimated earlier, maybe like 130 or something
At
for
one-
two people.
yeah.
Now we're pulling people,
Yes.
so we also have to think about those people have availability, right?
Right.
We've got people with,
But based
could
on
go do other things, so that's, and excuse me. The other thing we have to consider is, and I'd ask Randy maybe to weigh in, but, we also have to plow snow. at
Ye-
times.
Yeah, and I think the
Those
snow
people
plowing
tend
was
to help
something
with that.
we talked about too, whether or not, that might be something the town needs to keep and
But yeah,
doesn't make
so-
sense to outsource
But
to.
based on an estimated budget on the information that I had, say that was that $9,000 mark, that's less than half of what is in a budget.
I don't think it's that high, but I'm not
Sure.
saying you're not a little
No.
less, maybe less, but.
It's give or take, but what I'm saying is I don't think it will take that. But to give you a number in 2 or 3 days with the
Well,
information that I had.
An efficient group doing it.
Yeah. So what I'm saying is, coming in that 90 days, we're going to know what it takes each time we're out there. But that information is going to be yours. So we're pretty much,
So you're gonna use these hourly rates
the
as a guide as you do the work, is that what
I believe so, yes. Now that will also, you're going to know how much time it takes. So, when you have a group of 3 people out there, we don't have a clue how long it actually takes them to maintain the cemetery daily, or weekly.
Yep.
And it is weather by weather, and stuff is contingent on weather. But then at least you'll have a schedule. You'll know what it takes every time, even if you just take the information and implement it yourself. But what we would do is put true information down on, okay, it takes, there's 80 hours of trim time there, to trim it right and trim it down. and I'm not saying it's like that every time, you know, it was high, you know, that time, so there's more work, more line. And, you know, more time, we did it obviously of an evening so everyone could cool off.
Yeah.
So, you know, there's different things, but I think the town would benefit and the cemetery would benefit from knowing what it takes. So, and the numbers that was just to throw something together. But
So what you're saying is you'll charge an actual
it'll be actual
rate,
time.
your rate times hours that you actually spend.
Yeah.
That helps. That helps. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you'll have hey, we got these 3 guys that work for us, and we know what it takes to do it because it's been documented for 90 days is enough time to know how to do anything. You know, once you put it on a program.
Yep. Let me open it up to others for questions. Anybody else have questions?
I don't really have a question, as much as I would like to point out that Keegan, Emily, and Daniel have been working at the cemetery and have been doing a really good job of keeping up and making it look nice. I think Randy's been out there too, but I didn't want to just assume that he had. So, but when yeah, I thought I heard somebody say there was no employees out there. I didn't want
No,
our
yeah,
employees to feel
obviously
like
we're
they
getting the job
didn't
done.
matter.
No, it's not like
But-
that at all.
But we are pulling people from other work that they would normally do. We're not getting any maintenance done. I mean, yeah, good. Good. Yeah. But we're short at least 2 people right now, right?
Yes. And like you said, we're taking people from other jobs.
Right. Yeah, we're not
To go out
spending the
there.
time on water and sewer that we likely should.
What we're doing now is not sustainable. I mean, something's going to suffer.
Right.
And I think we've had some volunteer work out there too,
Yeah.
hasn't, there's been some people who've sent some volunteers to kind of help get things.
Well, yeah, and even if we're here just to kind of lean on for it could be 30 days or 60 days, but and you would still have our information.
I personally, like I said, because we're gonna at least vote on the potential hire of a town manager, and although that job is more than just water and sewer and cemetery, there's some focus needed there right now.
Sure.
And so if the cemetery was handled, that kind of makes sense to me, because we need some time on the water and sewer, and to get their feet wet about some of the other things they need to consider.
I think it'd be a good,
So if we can kind of declare this an emergency and maybe take it month to month, but plan on up to 90 days.
Yeah, and that's fine. I think when this idea was approached to me, I thought it was a good idea to know really how much time it took to manage
Getting
it.
it documented is good.
But then it would also help you guys on your shortage. Right now, you don't have to rush to find the people that you need, the people that you want to stay. You can kind of, put it in cruise control where we're at and not have to worry about that, because there is, you guys have you have a whole town to run.
And I'm thinking, sorry.
I'm gonna say Randy had something.
When this happens, do you guys use our equipment, our mowers,
Yeah, I was gonna say, we have all
We
this
just
equipment,
bought
so
new stuff.
we have brand new mowers, so
It's
does that
totally
lower the
up to you
cost
guys.
kind of thing? I mean,
Yeah, it's totally up to you guys. We're okay.
I mean, we have the new mowers, we might as well use them.
Yeah, we're okay using your stuff.
Except these hourly rates surely includes.
Well, I was gonna say, that's why I was
so-
asking, would the rate change from,
Well, so our labor rate, you wouldn't have an equipment rate then. You know what I mean?
is there a separate equipment rate?
Well, yeah, there'd be I don't have a mower listed on there.
Okay,
So, but yeah, our labor would be different from,
so your general labor rate's 45.
but we could
That's what
come,
we would get charged for this,
yeah, yes, sir.
for mowing? Yeah.
But yeah, so then, there wouldn't be equipment charge or anything.
And I think that's part of why, to me, it's 90 days, because like 30 days is just gonna be keeping things together and starting to gather the data. But we need to inventory all that equipment and decide what makes the most sense, and then to put together, a solid RFP and identify a couple of companies to actually bid this and provide them with, we want you to buy this equipment or lease it from the town or whatever. We need 90 days to get all that done, to be
Okay.
able to.
I think we have the information, thank you, unless there's something more you wanna add.
No, so like I said, it's more for informational, so that way you guys know, but, you can turn this on autopilot right now and then find your people.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
or continue on and put it out to bid, but then you'll have the information to issue your contractors to bid it. I don't mow grass, but we can. You know, that's how we started our company years ago, to maintain that place. We're plenty capable to do it. And then to gather the data that I think that you guys need to move forward, whether it's to contract it out or to keep doing it in-house.
All right.
So-
As my last thing, the advisory board is happy to, if Bart's willing to help us make sure that we put together this, we would be happy to help do the background work to get all that put together, and look at the budget things and stuff like that to make sure we had your approval on the RFP and what that looked
Okay.
like, but to assist in that process.
And Jacob, do you foresee, like, if it's your company that's in, one of the companies interested when it's a bidding process, but if or if not, do you foresee that what you're proposing or estimating for costs is pretty much in line with what others would? I mean,
You know, after getting in and seeing all the work that it'll take, I'd be able to answer that better on what it would actually cost to, you know, to maintain. You know, roughly seeing what I see that it takes, I think it's going to be somewhere around that rough number that I sent you guys in the email. So now it could be less, it could be more, but I don't foresee it being any more than that. Especially using your guys' you know, when you have your mower and your equipment and your excavator
Yeah, we
digging.
got all
and-
that equipment,
yeah,
so we don't need any
You
equipment.
just need the labor. So
And
Okay.
I did tell Jacob he'd need to, I'm sure, provide you guys with liability insurance
Yep.
certificates, workman's comp certificates, which I do not have copies of those yet, but he has assured me he has them.
mhm.
And that was the equipment, I think, is a big thing too, because we want to really, does it make sense for you guys to own? Does it make sense that you use a contractor might be able to hold stuff for it? So I think we just got to evaluate on that.
Yeah.
I got a question. If the equipment breaks while a private contractor is using it, who makes the call to repair?
Or their employee gets injured using our equipment, you know, it's not good.
Okay.
I mean.
Well,
at least for your
So is it
case,
better they use their own equipment if we're doing this? Okay.
For the 90 days, and
Yep,
then just see
yep.
where that goes, and have him break it down, he's gonna break
Okay.
it down between the.
Our
and the
equipment can
labor
be
rate.
used other places, it doesn't have to be used there.
Yeah, I don't know if we need it other places right now, but could be, sure.
I think the big
So it
thing.
sounds like we would, and again, I'm not sure how we'll vote here, but that if we would vote to do this, probably best to use your own equipment. So we need a separate cost for the mowing,
Yeah,
the mower usage.
and we can. I think the biggest thing with your guys' mowers is you just got the rear discharge mowers.
Yeah.
So,
And that makes it a lot
It's
easier.
kinda nice.
Would they
than-
just do a lease agreement to lease those for 90 days from the town?
That's
to
more
cover
work than it's worth.
Self-liability wise? I didn't know if we could just do a
For
quick,
Greg,
easy
anyway.
lease, if we could do
Well,
a lease for the
I
equipment for
Yeah.
90
looked at
days.
his quote, I assume that includes the equipment, the $9,000 to $11,000.
yeah, that was with our equipment.
That was with
I
your
mean, so
equipment,
that-
yeah.
That's with
Okay.
equipment, so, I
Okay.
mean, I think that would.
But we don't have a mower equipment cost, so we need to see that number at least.
Yeah,
But
and
it
the
was
rate
9
sheet
to
you don't.
11.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
I see.
Oh,
Yeah,
you-
the rate sheet doesn't
But
have that.
it's all included.
But it's
in
got the
9 to
excavator.
11
I know, I get
$11.
that. I get that.
Yes, it's
Whatever
all
that rate
included
is.
in that.
I just want to be able to break it down.
Well, he should give you a bill every month showing the breakdown.
I got
of
it.
labor,
I got
materials,
it.
Well, yeah, and
hours, and
that'll
per-
come with
per
your data.
function.
Yep.
Because otherwise, you're not gonna be able to figure out, if it's not per function,
Yep.
you know, what you need help with and what you don't.
Each occurrence and each hour on that property would be written down and turned in. 'Cause
Okay.
That's how you're gonna have your data to know, well, you know, this is how long it takes and then to bid it out.
All right.
So,
Thank you.
yep. So, you guys need me for
What do you
anything?
think? Nope, I don't think so. Thank you.
I would like to know what the budget looks like for it. Not that I just don't
The
want to.
budget. Our budget?
Be a town budget?
Yeah. Or this
So
whatever.
we
budget
currently pay 2 people, right? Typically, I mean, that's our typical 2 people. One of them is paid at the top level of what, 22? One of them paid the lower level, which is what, 18?
But there is no employee that comes wholly out of cemetery.
Excuse me?
There's no employee that comes wholly out of cemetery. So.
Okay,
only-
so they're
only
all
like 10
separate.
only
Yeah.
like
Oh, that's what I
10%.
wondered. I
Payroll
knew there
allocation,
was like
yes,
split there.
Yeah.
So what's our total cemetery budget for the year? That's really the number.
$112,800.
That's what I thought. It's a lot lower. Yeah.
Yeah.
So it
It was
makes
lower
it-
than it was last year.
No, that's your balance, Bart. You gave him the balance.
Oh,
You
No, I
gave
mean,
him
that's-
the, you
that's
gave him
what I'm saying,
the,
that's
no, you gave him the
total.
cash fund balance. Look on your other one we were just
Right.
looking at.
so that's our
I
balance?
thought that's what you wanted is the
No,
cash
I'm asking
balance.
for
You want
what
the
our budget is for the
appropriation.
year.
That is on
You
the,
don't have it? at
Yeah,
hand?
you have it right in
We
front of you
do,
guys have it. It's on page 6 of the,
Yeah, it's in the back.
on the council fund report. Yeah, it's on page 6.
112,863. Total.
Thank you for the fund report, by the way.
So basically, like right now, we're at
6,
112,
page 6.
305. Yeah,
Okay,
so
amended budget 2026 says 112,863.
that was the budget for this year for cemetery.
Year-to-date balance is 78,282, it says.
If you look over, the last two columns is the percentage that's been used, and the percentage that remains is your last two columns.
Yep.
So if you look at the two on the end there, that shows that, you know, we have
30%
30%
remaining.
left. We should have about 50% right now, but we only have 30%.
So when you say year-to-date balance, that sounds like remaining, not used.
Well,
Because that's actually what's used up, right? If we got 30% remaining, that's got to be the number.
That's your balance, but that's not what's appropriated.
Thank you. Okay.
what's
The
the actual budget?
So what's
what
the
was appropriated?
appropriation?
112,800.
That's the appropriation in the budget. Good. Okay. So we have 30% remaining,
We should be at about 50.
which
or
is
30,
a
so
little over $30,000, which is too low to get us to the end of the year if we had employees.
Right.
So we're, I mean, like every other year, we're gonna have to appropriate more
Additional
money
appropriated,
to
should
the
be-
cemetery.
But the cash balance,
Yeah, your cash balance is, as of
You're at-
June 30th, is 78,282, right?
so
So we're talking about
We're
roughly $30,000 if we went 3 months.
20%, yeah. For additional appropriations, I would have to ask for at least right now, if it keeps going the way we're going, 20%.
So,
I'd have to ask for additional appropriations for
I
that.
mean, we're almost into August here, halfway through, so by the time you get into October, you're, you know, maybe got a little mowing in November, but not much to clean up.
You know, a lot of leaf.
Yep, that's the cleanup, right? Okay, yeah, it's not easy to spend that money, right? It's not just there. You know, the comment that it's 20,000 a month is not really true for actual cemetery. See, we have $112,000 budget for the whole year,
Right.
just for cemetery.
The way we came up with my number was going off for 2025, and then on an average of 3 people there. But your main guy Elvis was almost at 70,000 there last year.
He came out, he was at like 5%.
Yeah, only 5% of his comes out of the
Out
cemetery
of the
budget.
payroll allocations when we did pay, yeah.
So it's
So,
hard to, I don't.
yeah, we have to budget across because people are doing everything. That was what I was saying earlier, right?
A large percentage is, yeah, it came out of utilities,
Yeah.
correct.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Roxanne. We don't have a job title other than a cemetery superintendent. Anybody else that you would hire is
Right.
a tech 2.
That's right,
or a
Tech 1, all right.
Which that includes everything in this town.
Yep.
Okay, so if you get hired as a tech 2, you're expected to do all
Whatever's
aspects of
needed.
everything. If we need you out to
Yep.
cemetery, we put you
That's
out
where
to
we go.
cemetery.
And frankly, the cemetery supervisor does the same thing, right? Even though they have a title,
Pretty much.
they're gonna go wherever we need them.
Allocations, right, they might be paid 5% out of cemetery, but 95% would come out of the utilities.
I mean, that's
So,
including
yeah.
reading meters and everything.
Right.
Yep.
So really, right now, we're not really taking a lot out of payroll out of the cemetery, so that it's not reflected in that 20. That's something else we would have to look at. I would like to kind of look at this more, though. I got this today. I know we.
Can I propose we do 30 days just to get things rolling and get these people back to their regular jobs as much as possible?
Are we gonna be collaborating for those 30 days, as far as like,
Collaborate.
yeah, I guess like, with people in the
What's the
office
total?
and
Is
systems,
that for a
and there's
month?
always somebody out there when customers come asking questions and finding the plots. Somebody coming in tomorrow is not gonna know necessarily how to find those plots and stuff like that.
I'm sorry, I don't quite understand what you're saying.
Collaboration phase of it, I don't know.
What do you mean by collaboration? I'm not sure what you mean.
It's like them learning the,
Item 3 on there
Yeah.
about the administration.
somebody.
Okay, are you talking about, I thought they just told me they understand everything they need to know about the administration.
Right, and they do, but that's part of what they're wanting to do
No, she means like if somebody wants to know where a cemetery plot is, we don't go out there, but she means, are they doing that part, or are we still calling
No,
them?
if you're gonna keep that piece, you gotta go out there.
We've never gone out there. Lisa never went out there. The
Well, how
cemetery
did she-
superintendent is the one who showed.
Oh, they would show them the
That's-
plot
yes,
locations,
that's what-
okay.
That's what
Okay,
they're
I see what you're
asking.
saying.
Yes,
Okay,
Now,
I assume that's what you were
yeah,
asking.
Emily and Keegan are doing that right now.
you're doing that, okay. So, and they don't know that.
There's, I mean, throughout the day, there's.
So
times
let
when
me ask,
maybe I
let me
stop
ask you
and
guys.
go take care of
You guys are doing the work. I know Randy's a short timer, but what's your thought right now?
I think the cemetery looks pretty good considering the
Mhm.
amount of people that we have working at the moment.
Yep.
I think that if we hired somebody in full-time and had them help in all aspects, but have the cemetery be their main thing, then we'd probably be able to cover all the bases. But at the same time, it would be nice to actually know what it, you know what I mean, what it takes. Because with me, Keegan, and Daniel, half days mowing, we have it mowed in 3 days. Weeding, weed eating is a really big deal though.
Yeah.
So the big thing would be just like the amount of phone calls that you get about little stuff where somebody has to meet somebody out there to find a family member or sell somebody a plot or all those kind of things. And then the learning, the transitioning into that next group, being able to do that.
Right.
The biggest issue is
Process, but I
that,
don't see.
is to have people that you hire, that you bring in out there that will work.
Absolutely.
That gets with it and will work.
That's the difficult job, right? Yeah.
You're on the phone, you're doing this and
Yeah.
that, you get behind, that's what happens.
Why we kind
Which is kind of why they're proposing what they're proposing, right? Consistency, hold a separate company accountable to get the work done. Sounds really good, you know, it sounds great. I think the costs are probably difficult for us, that's what I'm saying.
Of it is the biggest issue.
Yeah, we can't charge all this to the cemetery, because we just don't. We don't have that much money in the cemetery budget. That's exactly right. So, you know, could we get by a month and find a transition to decide to hire somebody, but also have the data? You know, could we get a good date in a month? It'd be better to have more than a month.
What would be the difference between a month and 3 months as far as,
Well, you're gonna have variability in the months, that's why. You know, 1 month may be hot and rain, and you get you gotta mow often, and the other month, you know, as you get into August, it might get drier and you don't have to mow quite as much. September, October,
You know, when you're hiring companies to do a job when a job needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
you don't have people in here that are not doing anything when there's nothing much to do, that you're paying sick
Right.
time, insurance,
Yep.
and all that for.
It's exactly the
some
reason
of
we
that
wanna hire
can be beneficial to the town.
if that rate is a lot less, then I would agree. You know, if that rate ends up being half of what the proposal is, then we're probably closer to in line with what we could afford. Now, does it make sense for a company to do it for that rate? I don't know. You know, I don't know what it'll take.
We don't know the real rate.
Right. Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying, so. We need
a trial.
I mean, what is it, you said you do it, 2 of you in 3 half days?
So we have Daniel out there.
So
pretty
it's,
much 5
so it's 3 days,
Yeah, me and Keegan go out there.
but
we
that
do
doesn't,
3
that's
days,
just mowing.
half days, just mowing, and we get it all mowed, and then
I mean, Daniel's done a lot of weeding.
absolutely.
So you got a
But
person
he's
doing
getting
weeding.
ready to
coming
leave,
behind.
isn't he?
Well,
Yeah,
he's
Yeah.
we have him for maybe a month.
Yeah.
and he'll be
Okay.
gone. But
So-
I think considering, it looks pretty good.
Yeah.
And we haven't been spending all of our time out there.
Yeah, so 3 days a week, 3 full-time days a week, plus weed eating. So that's, I don't know, is that 3 days, or is it more than that?
Oh, yeah, it takes more to weed eat than it does to mow,
Yeah.
obviously.
So it takes a full week to weed eat, and
Circle section,
I'm just trying to think about how many actual work days you have. So I'm hearing eight work days a week, potentially, if
This
it's,
summer's been extremely wet.
yep,
I mean,
more than
weather
normal,
has a
yeah.
lot to do with it. When it dries out and you get caught up, it's not as hard as when it's continues to rain.
yeah, I believe.
So 2 people all week, you're saying? Yeah, you said that, okay. Yep, okay,
Well, and that's why we've had to hire outside contractors twice this month to go.
right.
catch
So what
it
I'm
up.
hearing is, we won't, with only 1 person weed eating, it takes 2 weeks to weed eat it.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay.
You just have one person.
Yeah.
But you also don't have to weed eat every week.
It doesn't grow that fast, you're saying, right? You're gonna cut it pretty short, weed eating, right?
Also,
Okay,
point out the way we kept up with it in the past, we used to get prisoners out there.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, like,
Help get it done, yeah. Okay, well, we need to decide something, either nothing or do something, so let's please weigh in.
Can we table it so we can gather more data on
Are we gonna have a special meeting like in the next?
I don't think so. I don't have any plans. I talked about it, but I don't think we're planning, I mean, not that we couldn't, but, I mean, we're getting by at the moment,
My
so,
feeling-
I don't wanna leave that pressure anymore than we have to.
My feeling is that this 3-month period that they're proposing is the time period we're gathering this data. I mean, this is going to really tell us a lot and
Be very informative.
very informative. I think it's perfect that it coincides with the hiring of this town manager because both would be learning at the same time, you know, and coordinating needs and because nothing's set in stone yet if we have this new system. And if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. But it's 3 months of a great opportunity to find out, or maybe find out what we do need, if we do need to hire within.
Well, based on our current budget, we have a little over $30,000 remaining in the budget. So if we do 3 months, we're gonna potentially eat that $30,000 up. for the-
How
for the rest
would,
of the year.
would we be eating it up if, say, Elvis or someone,
That's what I write, I just want.
if that person is still here, isn't that eating it up too?
No,
Well, because of the way they charge it.
Their salary is divided between water, sewer, electric, cemetery.
They help in all
It-
areas.
It's
And
offset.
so they don't
So
charge
it's
it all
not
to
all
cemetery.
coming out of the cemetery.
I got you.
The
but
payroll
then-
allocation.
I got you there, but then we're not paying that payroll, so it's saving those other departments the money that you.
Just the way we do it. I mean, that's the way the budget is built.
That's the way
We're
all
not
of the
saving
town
anybody
employees are
any
paid,
money,
actually.
we're just, that's the way it's done.
Yeah, that's the way
Well,
all the town
you-
employees are
You
paid.
actually are saving because you're not paying an employee 30,000 or whatever it is. That employee doesn't exist. Where,
Yeah, you're right, it helps the utilities.
yeah.
It spreads the cost across
Spreads the
everything, right?
cost out.
For
Okay,
that.
so I would propose, if, it sounds like there's enough potential votes to move forward, I would propose that we call this an emergency and we go month to month up to 3 months. Okay? Now, the question is, what do we do about the management of the software? Do we keep that in the, have a question?
One topic, since Lisa has left, you guys do have her salary, I don't know how it's allocated.
Right.
But, and true expenses wise, if you're not replacing.
Right.
that, you do have
We do,
salary
we
from
do,
the leave,
that's
but
right.
a portion of that was
She is being replaced in the office because she was a utility clerk.
What percent of her time was for
Only
cemetery?
5% of, only 5% of her
5%?
pay was, came
Okay.
out of cemetery.
Okay,
So even though
So-
that doesn't go, it doesn't mean that was the real expense, right? I mean,
Right.
The real expense is really what hours get spent there by the owner. So you could say whatever on the budget, but the real expense is how much hours.
I would love to know those numbers. I would love to have timesheets for everybody that says, here's what we did this week. Then you could have a real budget based on where you really spend time. It might be scary because we don't have enough, we probably wouldn't have enough money to actually run the cemetery. We'd find out that it's much higher, but anyway, that's a whole separate topic. But we need to move on, okay? We've spent plenty of time, we know the information, we just need to know what people think.
Is a month by month,
9 to 11,000.
is that Jacob and Stephanie and Linda, is that doable to do it month by month, or is that gonna work out?
I mean, he's not asking for a contract, so, I mean, we could stop at any time, you said, right? We may say to get good data, it would be better to go longer, but we're not signing a contract, so we can decide to stop in 30 days or 60 days or go full 90 days.
Something weird happened.
And I think the question is Jacob, that's what you expected, is that right, if we do this? Okay. Okay, thank you. Anything? Okay. All right, is there a motion or is there not a motion? That's what I'm gonna ask, and then we're gonna decide and move on.
I'll make a motion to approve this, arrangement for on a month.
Emergency mowing,
Emergency mowing and,
Help you
maintenance
out
on a month-by-month basis.
Emergency maintenance.
The proposal
Oh, the
that
cemetery.
Mrs. White, proposed. And Jacob. Makes sense?
Clear as mud.
Okay.
Do we have a second?
Do we have a second?
So if we do this month by month, we're revisiting this
We-
again in August.
We need to address the motion before we do anything else. We can have discussion, but we need to decide if there's a second or not. If there isn't, then we'll
I'll
see.
second the motion.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion? Your question is, do we readdress this? I would say every month.
Yeah,
We would need whatever data for the month,
just because,
and we definitely need really solid data about what we actually spend and.
right.
So when does Jacobs, when does he start? When do I not need to have my people out there and he's got his people out there?
We haven't voted yet, but if we do vote tomorrow, when are you prepared to start?
I'd say Monday.
I'd say Monday. It sounds like
I'm
they
just
already
asking,
have
I'm just
the,
asking. So it's the 16th today.
August the 1st.
I personally, if we're gonna do this, I'd prefer to get started. I
yeah.
don't wanna wait till
Well,
August.
I'd
I
wait
think it needs,
until at
because
least
if we can
Monday.
catch most of the half of this month and the half of next month, that gets us to our next meeting. And now we have a month and we're meeting and we know where we are, hopefully. Okay, Monday, okay, it's basically the end of the week. Okay, we have a motion, a second, any other discussion?
The 21st. So
Okay.
is that part of the motion, commencing the 21st of July? 20th?
Okay.
Thank you. 20th.
Okay,
Thank you.
so that's, we're amending the motion.
Okay, starting Monday.
All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Sounded unanimous, so thank you very much. We'll get started with this. All right, next up, Park Board. Mr. Brown.
Just a question.
Go ahead.
So if we get a call for a funeral, is Jacob just doing the mowing, or do I still need to call Randy and his crew for a funeral?
No, he's doing everything.
According to this,
He's
he's
gonna
doing
dig
it.
graves, he's gonna do it all out there.
Call Jake with that information.
So it's not, but it's
So-
not gonna be more than $11,000 a month.
It doesn't say that. It's gonna be whatever they figure out based on their hourly rates. It doesn't say not to exceed, guys.
No, it's based off.
It says 9 to 11,000 is an estimate. It's only an estimate. They'll charge actual hours. So we do not have a number for that. We just voted. We're gonna learn. That's what we decided to do, is to learn what it takes.
So we knew who to call
Yeah,
for a funeral.
Yep.
Like, we have a funeral tomorrow, so.
Okay.
Is that something we'll hand over to Jake?
We'll do it
Starting
tomorrow, because they're not starting
Yeah,
till
so
Monday.
starting Monday, everything will go through Jake. That's
Yep.
what we were just wanting clarification for.
Yep. Park Board. And try to keep things moving.
Good evening. For those of you who don't know, I'm Russell Brown. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Clark Quinn in Indianapolis. I've worked on a variety of projects in Knightstown over the years, and currently was asked in spring to assist the Parks Board as they consider a bond project and capital projects that are under their jurisdiction. So Jeff, the Parks Board asked me to come tonight and just kind of walk through what they're thinking of doing, and then where the town council fits in to that process. So the Parks Board is considering a bond issue for capital projects that, or they have a small list of capital projects that they would like to consider. That process has some obligations under state statute before they can go to a bond issue. Specifically, they are required, if they are going to use bond proceeds, to get contractor, engineer specifications and estimates of cost for those projects. That doesn't come for free, and so before they started the expense of those projects, I wanted to kind of have a discussion with you about the appetite for the council of taking the final step in this, which would be approving a bond issue. The board itself has the ability to issue bonds, but ultimately the final step in that process is coming here. And before expending professional funds on those projects that they've identified, didn't want to spend taxpayer dollars on projects, specifications, working with engineers to get those specifications before having some concept that would be successful before this council. So I can walk through what the process generally is, and then, you know, kind of where you're fit, and then I think the board's desire would be to either get a representative of the council to, you know, kind of work together on an agreement or memorandum of agreement about what projects would be pursued before spending those dollars. I can tell you with the projects that the board has come up with, which would be their priority. First is, and the largest, would be the repair and replacement of the bridge. They do have engineers' estimates. Those are about a year old. That is in the mid threes to high $300,000 project. So that is going to be the lion's share of the contemplated bond. Secondly would be a dredging of the lake. That has been a project that multiple members have discussed. Replacement of the streetlights in front of the shelter house and electrical improvements in the lower part of the park. Improvements to the former pool house to insulate and make restrooms fully operational year-round. And then a separation of the water lines feeding the splash pad and the pool house restrooms. Those were the capital projects that they identified as potential projects that they would like to kind of move forward to getting an engineer involved, getting a professional involved to get those to get those specifications and engineers' estimates, which is the first step in their process. So that is the first step. Once they have those, they do have to hold a public hearing, have those quotes available for individuals to come and kind of review, and then there's an opportunity for remonstrance at the Parks Board. They can then move forward with kind of the bond process. I am not a bond lawyer. I do not want to be a bond lawyer. So before the Parks Board would engage bond counsel, they would go through that initial process. Then they would engage bond counsel, fiscal analyst, or fiscal analysis, FA, to kind of help scoping of the bond. They would then go through their public approval process, so they'd have to have a public hearing, notice and public hearing on a bond issue. Only after that public hearing, then they would come here. And the last step in the process is that the board must obtain an ordinance approving the bond issue from the unit's fiscal body. So that is you, and that would be the last step in the process. The concern is it's going to cost probably, you know, 5 figures to get specifications put out for those remaining projects. And before they spent those dollars, they did not want to, you know, wanted to have at least some initial discussion and hopefully an agreement with the council, so long as a not to exceed amount is occurred, or something of that nature that they would, before they started issuing those funds. So we have gone through rough estimates of impact, tax rate impact of a potential bond. So we've done some initial work on that, but obviously don't know the scope, and so we've kind of done a maximum and a minimum and what those look like. But I do not think that there's an appetite for the board to raise their maximum bond issue, which would be about $1.4 million. That's the maximum capacity they have. But I do not think there's an appetite to pursue the maximum. But instead of just pursuing one project in the $400,000 range, the concept was, do you want to do some projects because this is probably the only bond you're going to issue for a number of years. And so instead, using those one-time funds for one-time needs. So happy to answer questions or provide clarification, but the ask of the board would be to, if there was willingness to have a member of the council and work to an agreement with the consideration of the full council and the Parks Board about what scope would be acceptable to everybody before they started spending those dollars.
So my first question is, what's the impact on the town for this bond to be issued?
There could be some.
Beyond the decision to say yes, there's a reason that we have to say yes, right? So I assume it limits what we can do in the future, potentially, in some ways.
I'll keep my political. I do not know the rationale for why you come back here.
So there's, I mean, obviously we have a certain amount of bond capability.
It's called general obligation limit, but are you saying, I don't even know, is the 1.4 the max of our GO bond?
No, that's the max that the Parks Board can issue.
Based on their
assessed value, based on statute. So that is,
right.
that is outside,
So-
because they're a special taxing district, so they have obviously the wider taxing ability.
So it doesn't affect your bonding ability, the town's bonding ability for other projects. And it wouldn't affect utility projects anyway, because those are not general obligation bonds, but,
Okay. That was
because
my
they're not
question.
tax supported, they're
Yeah, okay,
rate.
that's what I thought, but I wanted to check.
But it does,
Circuit breaker.
impact, again, your tax rate, because for the
So it's
parks.
improving basically a tax increase.
Well, it just depends on, I mean, yes, it would be of some,
Yeah.
it could be pennies on the dollar. So it's just-
And it could have circuit breaker impact. I mean, that's the other reality is,
Cut other
correct.
income for the town.
And we don't know, no one knows what the circuit breaker's gonna be on SB one, SEA one, so.
But we already hit the circuit.
Yeah, but once these people get all these exemptions and 30% reduction and all that, the projection I saw says a lot of people are not gonna hit the.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I actually saw a presentation to another body this month that the circuit breaker impact for that municipality is going down
Down.
because of these deductions.
So too is their income.
Oh, the income is going down
For
too.
property tax.
It's not just, okay, yeah.
From,
So the circuit breaker becomes less relevant, is what you're saying, even though.
It's
It
still
could.
relevant.
Okay, so, thank you for the answer.
So a couple questions, Russell. When you talk about an agreement, are you talking about an MOU between the?
yeah, I think we're just trying to get some
And-
sort of,
Do they have the money to pay for the engineering, or are they gonna be looking to the town
No.
for some kind of? Okay, so they'll pay for the engineering and all of the design work and so
Yeah.
forth.
and it may be something that they reimburse themselves out of bond
Out of
proceeds.
the bond, of course, yeah,
But upfront, yes, they do have the ability to pay for those things.
Sure, they just do a reimbursement agreement.
What's the current budget for the park board? Is it like 100,000 a year? 120? What's the, I mean, I know you haven't done all the work, obviously, but what percent of that current amount would be expected to pay back a bond over some period? What, 30 years? Would it be
So
that
20, it would be 20 years, so put the assumptions included,
I'm sorry, I can't hear anything. I'm trying to concentrate here. Is
the-
my mind grabbing that door, please?
the assumption for the minimum tax, or the minimum bond amount, which we ran at $430,000, was about, now you're asking a lawyer to do math on it's about $36,000 a year would be the principal and interest on that. The maximum amount, the $1.4 million, almost 1.5 was the maximum, was about $122,000 a year in principal and interest.
Yeah, but debt service rate.
Yeah, it would be a
Oh,
debt
okay.
service rate.
So it's not based on your current
Correct.
levy, okay.
Right. Here's the
It's
other
an
thing.
additional levy you're asking for.
Roger, here's the other thing. You have to think about issuance costs. And no offense, but it costs you just as much to issue a $450,000 bond as a $1.4 million bond. And so, I mean, I'm not saying you want to go to the max, but I'm just saying you have to factor that in when you start looking at what their projects are, what they're projected to cost, and then what is your issuance cost? And, I mean, we all hope interest rates go down. I don't think it's going to happen for a while. But still, just keep that in the back of your mind.
That's why we're here talking about multiple projects, was I brought up that very point with the Parks Board was, you can go fix your one project, which is a capital project, which in my years in Knightstown I've been hearing about for multiple years. So I know it's a big need and a big desire. So I think that, that's a known issue. But if you went and just bonded for that, first of all, it decreases future capacity. It also costs the same $40,000 or whatever to issue that debt as it does to issue the larger amount.
Okay, makes sense. So what you're asking for is for somebody on the council, for us to first agree that we're willing to go down the path, not to decide, I guess we are, we're open to the idea. And that somebody from the council would pursue this with you to get some idea and coordinate, how big or how much we're willing to go.
I think that would be the end desire, yeah. So if we came back and said we're not going to exceed, $600,000, I'm just making up a number, $600,000, they go spend those dollars and they get, in that $600,000, you get 3 projects out of that list. Well, that may be what they bond for, if you're going to get all 5 projects out of that number. But before they expend any additional professional dollars, that was the desire.
So if you're interested, then you need to appoint somebody to work with the park board to develop an MOU. And I'll work with Russell. He'll send me that.
Interested in doing this, working with the park board?
I would be interested in that.
One's probably enough.
Yep, one's all we need.
Okay, so Desiree's your person.
What's the timing for this bond issue? That's the
The desire would be to issue before the end of the year.
Okay, that's important.
It depends on how fast their engineering gets back
Yeah,
to
right,
design
that's-
work and so forth, but, I
Yes.
mean,
So maybe go into next year.
but you've already started on the bridge.
Yeah, the bridge, we need to do an update. That's
Yeah.
about 12 months old. But the goal was to, have this introduction conversation. We get a go, no-go, hopefully in August would be ideal, because you need about 90 days to kind of work through a full,
Yeah.
the full through process. Thank you.
I had a quick question, not for you, sorry.
I'm gonna leave.
Okay.
Yeah.
Bye, Russell.
Come back. Going back to the cemetery contract, the only thing is, I
Is
just,
that related to this somehow?
No,
We're not
not
done with this. We need to finish this topic. We didn't
Okay.
vote or anything yet, so let's finish
Okay,
this topic.
okay.
We'll come back if you want.
What?
So do we need a vote? I
No.
assume we don't need a vote. we
Just
just
appointed Desiree to
Okay, you're
work with
appointed.
them,
Thank
and
you.
she'll
That's
come
all I
back.
need. Go ahead.
She'll come back and
I
move
know there'd
forward.
be
so.
official vote. Go ahead.
okay, so we're saying to start Monday with Jacob, but what about
I hear
the
we're
position
keeping
of
that,
Lisa?
I hear we're keeping that in-house with the group that's here already in the
Uh,
office.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, they're already
Yeah.
doing it.
When did we decide that?
Well, that's what we said when I asked if we needed to do something else, and they said they could do the work. So my point would be, they're already hiring somebody internally, and why would we pay anybody additional if they're already gonna cover the cost, gonna spend that money anyway?
So we're hiring another person in the office?
Unfortunately,
But
I'll say.
I thought with the maintenance agreement, they were doing
Yeah.
this,
So
everything.
5%, what I heard was 5% of that person's pay went to the cemetery. The rest of it was utility clerk.
Have we determined how much time was Lisa spending on the cemetery? And are we,
Never timed her, but her main job was a utility clerk. And that's what we're gonna be hiring to replace as a utility clerk.
The system's not hard to learn.
I
I
don't
was
think that's
under
the
the
question.
assumption
Yeah, I
that
don't
she
think that's
was
the
there she wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for the cemetery, though.
No, she was a utility clerk first and foremost.
Okay.
She just was the one that, where Katie's over billing, I'm over a lot of the funding and accounting side of things. Lisa was over the cemetery side of things. But she was a utility clerk, the same as I am, the same as Katie is, also. So her main job was to be a utility clerk.
I think we need to have more discussion on that myself. I mean, we need to determine whether another utility clerk is needed, what the time frame is that Lisa worked where, and,
How much oversight does the council have on that?
You're just filling a spot. I mean, you've already budgeted that.
We already
for
have an
another person,
opening and
and-
filling
Yeah.
the current.
Yeah.
filling that
I would
spot.
love it. I have a job to do and I'm not being able to do it, so.
We can have that conversation, but the opening is there, and I think he's got the purview to hire for that opening.
Sure.
We can have the conversation.
Because it's in the
but I don't
clerk's
think we
office,
can
that's
stop it from there.
yeah, we can. I mean, I was looking at that earlier. We have certain obligations or rights within the office that I can go into later.
No, if you look up your state statute, the clerk's office and the town council are two separate things.
Correct.
Right.
Bart is
We're
over,
not gonna
Bart is
argue
over
that
the
all
hiring
the
and
time,
firing in the
okay?
clerk's
So
office.
Move
There's a
on.
lot of
Okay.
things underneath
We may
that.
wanna have that discussion, but I don't think we're gonna
Lord.
solve it tonight. All right,
But we do need to have that discussion.
we're gonna go to public comments.
Hey,
Any public
Here we are.
comments? Hi. Step right up.
Hi, I'm Cynthia Neal, and I reside at 8757 South County Road, 625 West, here in Knightstown. I'm here to follow up. You, last month, said you would look into the 301 situation and how that you could levy fines for mowing or,
We
Yes,
have-
I did. I talked with Joel Harvey, he's the city attorney for Newcastle, and they do not do what your information was. Yes, if they mow and it's not paid, then it's a property tax lien. But that doesn't give them any leg up, they can't foreclose on that. Now, if the property taxes don't get paid and it goes to tax sale, it's the same process that we have. What they do have is they're part of a statewide program because of the amount of, or number of unsafe structures that they have in town, that they have the ability to actually purchase those properties at tax sale, pay for their demolition, and get some, I don't want to say 100%, but some partial reimbursement from the state program. But it's because of their volume and because
That's
of their
Newcastle?
size. It's
Not Henry
Newcastle.
County,
That's
okay.
Newcastle, not, yeah. He does represent Henry County too, but I talked to him specifically in regard to Newcastle because, I mean, if
But this
we.
town this home specifically, they have stated
It's already on
that
tax.
after this year, they're willing to
That's
address
correct.
this with us, right?
That's correct. On
Which is
301.
November, is that the tax?
I think it's September.
September? Okay.
September. I say
So we're a couple
September.
months or less away.
So are you saying
We're gonna
it will
pursue
go
that.
into the tax
It
sale?
goes into the tax sale.
If it gets bought, then obviously we're stuck.
So it's been in the tax sale.
Multiple times?
Oh,
That's
4 or
correct.
5
That's
times.
correct. And so if it doesn't sell at tax sale, then it goes to the commissioners. And the commissioners then have the ability to have their own sale. It's not a tax sale, but their own sale. Or they can, and we've had this happen on 1 or 2 properties, we can ask them to consider to simply deed that property to us on the representation that we will then demolish the structure and, you know, eventually sell the lot. So we've had that happen a couple of times, but the one at 301, it just keeps getting on and on and on, and it's not at the commissioner's level yet, so, but that is expected to happen.
So what does it have to do this year?
It's expected, okay.
It doesn't get
Somebody
bought,
can come in, pay the tax, or pay 1 year of the tax, or whatever, and then it can roll over, for lack of a better phrase, so.
But we're not allowed to bid on those
Yeah,
taxes.
you can go in and buy it, anybody can go in.
I
and
mean,
buy
the town.
it. Yeah, the town can
But
go
it's-
in and buy it.
So if it's in the tax sale, we won't just be paying 1 or 2 years. It actually, I mean.
Whatever's
The
out
tax
there.
sale amount.
You have to pay the,
Yeah.
everything that's
Right,
owed.
plus whatever you bid, correct?
Yeah, if you
Normally,
bid
I
over
should
it.
say, and I use that word advisedly, normally, there's a tax amount. Let's just say it's $2,000, okay? That would be the minimum bid that
Correct.
a bidder could make. They could bid more than that, okay? But there's also a waiting period after the tax sale
Yes.
before you can
1
apply
year.
for the tax sale
Yes.
deed, and there's a process for that.
1 year.
So,
1 year.
so merely buying it at tax sale doesn't mean it's gonna get knocked down in 30 days or whatever. And I don't know the amount.
So
of
if we
tax
bought
sale.
it, we could delay it rather than, you know, it'd take us a year to
Well, you
get it,
gotta-
rather than if
you have-
nobody bought it and we get it faster.
You
We're,
have to
yeah, we're
pay-
10 years into this
you
process.
pay- Yeah,
I
you
know.
pay the amount of your bid right there and then, okay? Now, if somebody else were to come and redeem it, then they have to pay you what you bid plus 8% interest.
I'm not worried about a
So
redeem.
I
on
don't
that
think
one.
anybody's gonna redeem
But
that
the-
property, but yeah.
Yeah, my point is, there's 2 options, here's what I'm hearing. Do nothing and hope nobody buys or pays the taxes.
And the commission,
And then we talk to the commissioners and try to get the home.
right,
That'd be perfect.
right.
If somebody does, then we're stuck in another year cycle.
Yeah.
The other option is to pay the taxes and try to get the bid, but then we're still in a 1-year cycle
Yeah,
before we
for
get the house.
For redemption, yes.
But at least then we have a plan
But
and
we
we're
know
not
we've
10
got
years
it.
down
It's
the
a
road.
year, But I have to think about the town's money too, so I don't know what it's gonna take to buy it, plus we gotta tear it down. So we might have more in it than that small property's worth, so
Yeah.
it's great to fix it, and I think that's.
Well, I mean, it's
something we
just so
wanna do.
close to the park.
I wanna do even more. We have a number of houses in town we need to get addressed. I wonder if we could, there's no way to overcome this tax sale process, though.
Or foreclosure. That, and the real problem is, I think this lady mentioned last time, is you get these groups that on the east or west coast that, you know, they just
Buy
look
these
and they just buy them outside unseen and then worry about it later, and you can't communicate with them or talk to them. Or banks are just as bad if it's a
So
foreclosure.
is there anything we
so.
can do about that? Because I know we have a few of those in town at least.
I mean, you just have to wait for them to go on the sale.
I don't think there's another property that's in as poor shape as that.
No, I
one.
agree.
And it, I mean,
Right.
you've got,
There's one other one that's starting to get there, but
well, but 10 years down the road, very close to our park, and
And all your neighbors have had to deal with this for a long time?
well, you know, I own properties adjacent, but I don't live there. But, you know, if y'all had to live there, I don't think you'd be happy about it.
I'll try to
We're
find.
doing all we can. That's all I will say. I know it's not enough, but
So-
we've been dealing with it for like 3 years, and they won't
I can at
release
least
it
find
out of
out.
tax sale.
I can find out what the minimum bid is for the tax sale, and get that back to you next month, and then you can make a decision if you're
I'm
gonna
a
try and get it, or wait and see what happens.
Do we know if somebody bid on it last time?
Yes.
Yes,
They did, so that's why it's.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they haven't redeemed it, so
Yeah.
that's where we're at again.
and they're not going to if they ever.
No, it's like, just exactly like you said, it's someone far away that's never laid eyes on it, even though the website does have an updated picture. You're buying a
that's-
definitely burnt,
Yeah.
collapsing,
Good, they updated the picture for me.
burnt collapsing property that, I mean, it's a detriment to our community. I mean, you know, young kids could get in there and, you know,
Yeah.
it would be a really sad
We've
story.
been at it for a long time.
Yeah, 10 years is just, you know, a long time.
Okay.
Susan, real quick, I'm sorry, what was the 1 year thing you said? I can't remember. What did you say about the 1 year?
Oh, it's the
So when you pay so it goes to auction, and then you have to wait 1 year, and there's a process.
Okay.
Yeah, you'll pay whatever you bid. So if you bought it for $2,000, then you have to pay your $2,000 as well as bring the taxes to current. The previous owner, which has had nothing to do with it in the 10 years, which is all very convoluted, the previous owner could come back, give you your $2,000 plus 10%, plus pay the taxes.
That's the 1 year.
That's what happens at the end of 1 year. And then you do have to get counsel to get that tax property deed. So there's lots of different things, but, you know, you know, I've been coming here for 8 of those 10 years, and each year I get another answer. But you know, we're coming up on it again, and so then we buy another year of this falling down
The
property.
only option is for us to try to buy it, to get it out of the
So could you
process.
make that resolution? Could you?
I won't.
Let me get you the information so you have, before you make a decision.
So you
When you know what that
like,
dollar
if he gets
amount
a dollar amount.
All you have to do is look up on SRI tax.
I'm familiar with
She
the
knows.
process.
You
Yeah,
know.
I'm very familiar with that process.
You
But
So what I will promise, from my perspective, is that we will pay attention to this and make a decision.
next month,
before the sale,
I
about
appreciate it.
whether or not we will buy it, or whether we want to wait and see if it's sold. That's all I can say, right? We'll have to vote to decide, and we know the dollar amount. Okay?
thank you.
Is there any other properties that are like that?
There's one on
South Jefferson.
Is it
Oh,
Jefferson,
yeah.
South Jefferson, the other one on the west side of the road, right? And there's a couple others that you could drive around town and
Oh,
at
yeah.
least needs investigating at a minimum. Nothing's close to that, I agree. Other public comments? I'm gonna wear everybody out. Okay, thank you. Works manager, Randy.
I'm gonna let Emily go first.
Okay,
So, today I'm coming to ask you guys to approve 2 things, one being our Locust Lane lift station. The other one being, E. coli test upgrade. Right now, the way that we're doing it's pretty outdated. And the new way to do it is with the Quantatray. The biggest purchase for that is the Quantatray sealer, which is between $6,000 and $8,000. In total for everything, it'll be between $9,500 and $11,000, depending on if we're getting a used unit or a new unit for the Quantatray sealer. So we could just get an approval to buy.
you only include, not include the communication in that, is that right?
No, this is just for the E. coli testing.
That's just for lab work.
Oh,
This is
sorry.
the lab.
I'm thinking about
The lift station, yeah. So the lab first is between,
So, for those that weren't in the utility meeting, give them a little bit more information about
yep.
this.
So with the E. coli test, the way that we're doing it right now is just outdated, so we're looking to, update the way that we do it all the way around to IDEM, IDEM prefers the Quantatray for E. coli testing. So that's just something that they've been on us about, and we're trying to finally get to that level.
I don't even think of the word prefer, that's the way.
Yeah,
want
they
it done.
yeah, they want it done that way. The way that we do it is still technically in the realm of what's allowed, but they're phasing it out. They're trying to get everybody to go to the Quantitre. We'd be one step ahead by doing it. Honestly, it's way more accurate. So,
And Emily, is there only one company that supplies or that unit?
Yep.
Quantitre is the manufacturer?
yep. Well, it's IDEX is the company,
Okay.
and so like we buy a lot of our lab supplies through Blue Book, and I got a hold of Blue Book to see if they sell any kind of maybe off-brand Quantitre sealing type stuff, and IDEX actually holds the patent where they're the only ones that sells any of
Okay.
those products.
So it's a sole supplier
Yeah.
situation.
What was the dollar range on that?
Between 9,500 and 11,000.
We need
The-
a- we need a
pending.
number. Oh, you
Well,
don't
do you
have
guys,
that
well,
number yet?
it depends on if you guys want used unit or a new unit for the
Okay.
sealer.
So 9,500 for used or 11,000?
For new.
11,000 for new?
I think I need to call IDEX again because but I think at 11,600 for brand new everything and a year's supply of the trays that we need.
Which
Is that
at about 3,000.
with a warranty? I mean, if you buy a brand,
I'm
obviously
assuming
if you
that the
buy
lab
something.
equipment will have a warranty with it, I would assume, but I would need to call and confirm that. So,
I mean, I'd rather spend $11,000 for something new that,
With a warranty.
with a warranty than something $9,500 and a month from now, you're back here going,
and another thing too is if we switch this, we don't need a water bath, and we could potentially sell that to offset some of the cost.
So what about the,
The lift station is $7,978. That is for all new wiring, whole new panel, and emissions Hasmon system unit on it. So then it would be like the rest of our lift stations. If anything were to ever happen, we would get a phone call, and it would alarm
do
out.
we want to do that now, though, or do we want to look at that communication piece as a whole? Now, it sounds like the lift stations all already have this.
I would say go ahead and do the lift station, get it done, so then all of our lift stations are exactly how IDEM wants.
they're
And
the
then if we want to address the water treatment side later,
Need to.
then we could do that
I
separate.
think I agree with that. Okay.
So I just have a question. Did anybody get a hold of Miss?
I talked with Donnie Quackenbush today, and he says through the internet system that he can set us up communication with our phone when our tank levels, water tower, clear well, when they become low. He said you're looking at about $2,500 to do that.
Where the BL Anderson quote for the missions units was nearly 17,000. But the missions units are what we already have with the SCADA
He
screen.
would get me something in writing next week.
So what about, the only thing about internet is you've got, maybe if you've got sensors and everything, you've got power, you need power either way. So if you lose power, you're not gonna get a phone
Well, we
call.
were talking about working internet at the water plant, so you can send the signal out to our phones.
yeah, but that's what you're saying, isn't it? If the internet's out,
Yeah.
there's no signal.
Right.
And the missions units are,
What internet do you have?
So,
They aren't
so you
internet.
either gotta do it internet or via phone line, one or the other. And if you don't do internet, then they're gonna have to run the phone line.
Okay, let's go ahead and take care of this first. So we've got these two options.
yes.
Again, give us the numbers, sorry.
So E. coli testing, in total between 9,600 and 11,600. I can get exact numbers. If you guys want to vote that we do that, I can come back with exact numbers before we do anything. I can try to get, I guess, the warranty and new
You could
price
go
versus
with a
used
not to
price on
exceed
that.
Maybe, to get this done.
Yep.
Oh.
And then the BL Anderson, all new lift station panel
70 something?
with the missions unit is $7,978.
Plus, if you do it as a not to exceed, it gives her some leverage when she talks to them and say, hey, I can only pay 11,600 all in or
Right.
whatever, you know,
Yep.
so it doesn't put her in a bad spot.
Okay. We have a motion by these items.
Roger, and I was just, I know we talked yesterday at the utility meeting, but it's a little better than what we thought. So the sewer is 890,218.98 right now. Because you had asked for that balance, so that's.
90. I kind of wasn't worried about sewer because I knew the number was
Yeah.
big and this is not that much. So.
Yep.
What's water, just so we, since you're there?
Water is. That's operating. Looks looks to me like 103.
Yeah, but that doesn't
That's-
include what's
See, we haven't
committed,
put
right?
in, right, exactly.
We have
So we haven't put that in.
50-some thousand or something committed. I think.
Yeah. So about half of that.
What was the total, do you know what the total income was last month? That'll tell us kind of where we are.
Utility bills, probably,
Okay, come up with that,
20
we'll come back to it with Randy,
Okay.
sorry. So we need to address this. Is there a motion to purchase this?
Do you want a motion for each one, or
You can do it.
two separate motions?
do
or-
it.
I'll make a motion that we buy take care of both the things Emily's talking about.
The lift
Not to
station
exceed
equipment.
11,600 and a lift station for 7978.
Okay.
Do we also want to put in there as a stipulation that it has a warranty on it?
Oh,
If we're buying it new?
Yeah, I mean, we're offering to buy the new one, so we need to know.
there'll be at least a one,
Well,
There'll be something,
Yeah.
yeah, the question is how much.
but she needs to get it.
Be useful to know if there's another option for warranty beyond basic, and we can consider that.
Like an
I can,
extended-
I can get that information for you guys and email it to all of you guys and then go from there.
We have a motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
There's a motion second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Good to go.
What was
Thank you.
company name for the lift station again, you said?
B.L. Anderson.
BL Anderson, thank you.
And then, one other update I have for you guys is we got to call off our bypass pump this afternoon, finally, which was very exciting. We've had this expensive bypass pump for far too long. So we got our two Homa pumps in. They installed one pump. It's working like a champion. They installed the second pump. And it just so happens to be that where the second pump goes down into the wet well, there's so much grit and rocks that as soon as we turned it on, it plugged it. So we pulled it back out. We got it cleaned out to where we did not damage the pump, I do believe. But we need to call in somebody to vac out our wet well before they install that other pump because of the grit problem so bad in the wet well.
We don't have a vac?
No, we have a jet rotter. We do not have a vac.
Yeah.
We got rid of the bypass pump, but we don't have we have one of the two pumps that we got
We're kind of
running.
at risk with only
Yeah.
one pump.
Well, we have the two, our original pump
we did have
and then
one.
our Homa,
But one-
so we're back to two pumps. We just don't have the three at the moment.
All right.
So, there's that update. I think that's all I have for you guys. Thank you.
First of all, I gotta say, how
Yeah.
impressive is that for somebody that's worked here a little over a month?
1 month? Is that-
A month, have you been here a month?
Seems like 600.
I mean, you would think she'd been here for 5 years.
She's doing good
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Do we need to authorize her to get somebody in here to back that out, or?
I mean, we shouldn't have any cost for us, so.
It's gonna be about $2,000. That's about to go in her.
Within their
It'll be in
spending
Mark's
limit.
territory. You can-
Yeah, it's
Alright,
within their
yeah.
spending authority.
This is Randy's last update for us.
This is it.
Thank you, Randy, for
Thanks, Randy.
32 years.
You've been awesome.
Thank you.
Is that right? 32?
32 years.
I should have said that first. I see his little motion came up there.
Yeah, a little bit. I'll try to get through this. First of all, everything that item laid out for us during the sanitary survey that we needed to get done, we're on track. Butcher Concrete has put a new approachment at the water plant, our pad at the water tower lot for the overflow to drain in. Henry County Glass has come out. I don't know if any of you seen the new front doors on the water plant. They redone the front doors, all the glass, windows. It looks amazing. I mean, it looks better than it's ever looked. And they did a really nice job. The Carr County, Manning, his guys got the roof on the back of the water plant. That looks really nice. And Steve is currently today, they finished up all the ceiling joists, so they're ready to hang the metal. Now, I'm talking, this was really a process. They had to come in and hang beams going east and west, and then off of those beams, going north and south, they had to put in ceiling joists. There was nothing there to hang the metal to. So now all the new metal will be put up with all new lighting. We got all the lighting redone in the filter room, so that's great. You can finally see that, coupled by the glass doors and stuff, has made a huge difference. So we're on par as far as all that stuff goes. When we get everything done, when the ceiling's done, I'll call Carolyn up, I'll have her come in, take a look at it, and we should be good as far as that goes. On June 25th, Utilities Unlimited, I got called out one night a couple nights prior to that to what looked like a little water leak on the corner of South Adams and Pine Street. And they came in on June 25th to repair it. When they got it dug up, it was more than just a little water leak. It was a 4-inch main broke completely in half that was running in a storm drain underground. It had probably been leaking since January. So that affected our rate of loss huge. It was using about 40 or 50,000 gallons a day, which that has happened and will continue to happen when there's a harsh winter. We've had it happen several times where they eventually find you. If you can't find them, they will find you. But sometimes it takes some time. And in this case, it probably broke in January and February, and we found it in June. You know, we had one time when Bruce was working with me that took us a year to find it. So that's going to really help our rate of loss. It's helped our water consumption. Street department wise, June 24th, we put down 1.5 ton of hot patch, filling potholes. We still have a few potholes. I plan on sending Keegan next week to get some more patch. This, taking them off all that cemetery duty, is going to help with street department stuff for us. What little employees we have, we can put them to use. Street department, continue to improve the streets, potholes, and all that stuff. On June 30th, I took it upon myself. I told Keegan, I said, we need to do something with the flags. The flags were all tattered, and I figured people would complain with the 4th of July coming up. So I went to Harbor Freight, and I bought every flag that they had. They only had 9 of them. Keegan went up in the bucket, took the flags down, took the old ones off, put new ones on, and at least got 9 new ones up for the 4th of July. And I didn't hear any complaints, so that's a good thing. Cemetery, we had 3 funerals since the last meeting. Like I said, Emily, Keegan, and Daniel. Daniel's been unbelievable. Part-time guy. The kid works on, he gets on a weed eater and will spend the whole 5 hours on a weed eater. Yeah, I mean, he really has been a great worker. And they've done a great job. I mean, like I said, it's mowed, and they're working on trying to weed eat it. And, we've been doing the best we could to make it look as good as we could. I've worked with IMPA. I took my locator out there. They had a locator out there. We have no power to the fountain there. And so we located it out, and we found that the power, underground power, runs down the lane and up back around, kind of a crazy deal. And I think it must have got hit when excavated the tile that was put in down there accidentally. So we've got it located out where the repair needs to be, and I believe they're going to come in Monday. It was a vac truck, vac it out and make the connection and get the thing repaired so we can get the fountain back up and running. So now I want to, if I can, I want to talk a little bit about my time here. I came back to work March 24th after probably the toughest thing I've ever happened in my life, and kind of got through into a whole heck of a lot of stuff. I mean, we had a bad sanitary survey inspection with IDEM. I mean, they came in there when I wasn't there. There wasn't people in the water plant every day, and kind of picked on us a little bit. I didn't think it was quite fair that I wasn't there and I was down and out. And she normally does the inspections in August, and she chose to do this one in the middle of the winter, So, but we've worked through all this stuff, and we're on the road to recovery and getting all that stuff straightened out, and I've had several conversations with Carol, and she seems to be pretty pleased with everything. But I've had to deal with personnel issues, drama, just all kinds of stuff, that somehow in the future we need to try to eliminate that stuff for your next works manager, because it's a pain in the butt, especially for somebody like me that hadn't been 100% and wasn't feeling the greatest in the world, to have to come in and deal with all that stuff. And I got to say, without these ladies right here, there's no way I could have done it. I mean, they've been a godsend to me, and what they do for me, and not only since I come back, but the past couple of years, they've been super great. You need to do everything you can do to hang on to this group right here, because they really do a good job, and I really appreciate it. In my 32 years working for the town, like I've seen a lot of ups and downs, seen a lot of good, I've seen some bad, Seemed just, I could just about write you a book on things pertaining to this town. I kind of just wanted to maybe talk about some of the stuff that stands out in my memory that has happened in 32 years. And probably the biggest thing was August 13th, 2003. Some of you will probably remember this. August 13th, 2003. That summer, we had Midwest Underground in here installing underground fiber and phone lines all over town. And they hit something every day. I mean, I fixed more water leaks in 2003 than probably ever, you know. Well, they were going to bore a new fiber optic line under the creek, going from the water plant back to the east. And Mel and I, we knew that their main transmission line was there. We knew it was there. We didn't know how deep it was. Okay, so Mel and I met with John Wiedemeyer, and we discussed that we go 10 feet deep, because nothing in this town is 10 feet deep. Well, it just so happened that particular main transmission line to the water tower was 10 feet deep. And when they bored it, they went down through there and slapped it and just destroyed it, okay? So we were without water for 2 days and 3 nights. I clocked in on a Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock and clocked out on a Friday at 6:30. I had 1 hour of sleep. I laid down on the table down there, and Mel was pretty much right there with me. And I brought this in when I got off work that day at 6:30. I hung this in my garage. This was a hat that I had on during that period of time. That's how nasty of a job that was. So, yeah. But yeah, and we had the community pulled together. I mean, we had people bringing in bottled water, tanker truck. I don't know if you guys remember any of that or not. At the fire station, somebody brought in a tanker truck full of water so everybody would have water. We had news media. I did an interview with Channel 6. We had Channel 8 flying over. I mean, it was I mean, I hope we never have to deal with that again, you know, because it was an unbelievable situation. And then one other thing that stands out was June of 2008, we had frontline winds come through town and tore the town up probably as bad as it's ever been tore up. I don't know if any of you remember, there was a huge tree down by the Napa store, down where Mark Anderson is, probably the biggest tree in town, right there by his house. And it blew that completely down and tore everything up power-wise. And there was a lot of main lines right there. It was a horrible mess. Washington Street was completely closed. North Street, I remember on that Saturday afternoon, Rick Taylor and I set out with 2 chainsaws and went all the way up North Street and completely cleaned that out on a Saturday afternoon. And it was hot, and I mean, that was really a mess.
Was that right after a parade? I understand.
I think maybe so. Yeah.
There was a 2-story tree that went right into my parents' house, and they'd just been out there watching a parade. I think it was.
Yeah, it was a mess. It was probably the worst storm. I mean, we've had snowstorms, ice storms, minor wind storms, but that was definitely the worst storm that I've seen since I've been with the town. It was quite the mess. And then, you know, there was a period of time around 2018 when we had no electric department. When Bob and Tim, they'd become overwhelmed. They stepped down, and we didn't have anybody. And we were having all kinds of power outages, so I had to call upon the city of Greenfield to come over and help us out. And they did. They were here every time. And I really appreciate that, and I'll never forget that, you know, what they were able to do for us at that time. If it hadn't been for them, I don't know what we would have done. And they're kind of the ones that got us hooked up and connected with IMPA and got that program established. So I really appreciate that from them. You know, over the years, when I started in 1994, I didn't know anything about town stuff, water stuff, nothing. I was a delivery guy for Tweedy Lumber Company for 7 years. And I got this job. Hayden Butler, Jim Cunningham, Gladys Boatwright, John Goebel, and Harold Kirk was your town council. They were the ones that hired me in 1994. They're all have since passed on except for John. And I talked to John the other day, and he's doing okay, but he's not the best in the world. But so I appreciate that. And I told a little story last night about Gladys. One of my jobs when Gladys was, I don't know if any of you ever knew Gladys or not.
Yeah.
one of my jobs was, when it snowed, was to shovel her sidewalk off at her house, at her front porch steps, so she could get out, you know. And she one time seen Richard Griselle out working on Martin Luther King Day and asked Richard why he was working. And Richard's like, well, we don't get today off. And she goes, you will now. And we got Martin Luther King Day off ever since then. So I appreciate that from her. But I got a little list of people that I've worked with over the years that I want to thank. And the first would be Linda Glenn. Linda Glenn worked in the office for the town for well over 30 years. And I enjoyed working with her. She did a great job. Her and her coworker at the time was Paulette Walters. I don't know if anybody remembers her. We used to call her Blanche because she looked like one of the Golden Girls. So, yeah, she was fun to work with. She since has passed on. She passed away, I think, a couple months ago. Mel Matlock, probably 80% of what I know about managing a town come from working with Mel for 17 years. And I enjoyed working with Mel, and he was probably as good a boss as you could ever have to work under. And I really appreciate him. Jeff Lane, when I hired him in 1994, Jeff was our water operator, and I worked with him for 3 years, and he taught me everything that I needed to know about the water plant and stuff. And then he moved on to other ventures, and of course, ended up in Spiceland, and we still work together and have for 30 years. He'll cover me when I can't be here, and I've worked for him over there and that type of thing. Larry Rumpel, the late Larry Rumpel, who ran the electric department for a number of years. I never did really call him Larry. I always called him Uncle Rumpel, because if you aren't related to Larry and you live in this town, something's wrong, because I guarantee he was related to everybody. But Larry, I thought a lot of him. He was a great guy to work with. Used to help those guys a lot in the electric department. You know, that's back when we had a 4-person electric department, and those guys did a lot. Him and Joe McIntosh. Joe's another guy that I enjoyed working with. Probably one of my favorite co-workers. And Joe, when I got out of the hospital and got home, Joe was probably one of the first persons knocking on my door and grabbed me and Barb and hugged us and prayed that I would be okay. You know, and I really appreciate that from him. And I felt something, you know, when he did that. So, you know, I think the world of Joe. Richard Griselle, who worked with for a long time, he ran the sewer plant. He probably taught Rick everything he knows. And I don't ever remember having all the issues that we have now when Richard Griselle ran the sewer plant. I mean, he was great at it. He was a good friend, great coworker. I got one funny story I'll share with you about Richard, and Richard was quite the character. We were all standing around a hole, a sewer dig in the middle of the street. I forget where it was. Some little boy comes up and was looking, and he was curious about what we were doing. And he looked at Richard, and he said, I seen you in my mom's bedroom last night. And Richard goes, you did not. I'll never forget that, you know. You'd have to know Richard. If you knew how Richard was, you'd find that really funny. But, and then Dewey Richmond, I worked with Dewey worked for the town for 20 years. And he was a great guy to work with. He probably taught me as much as anybody. Taught me how to operate the backhoe, a lot of the equipment that I've operated over the years. I know one time the fire department donated us an old red International fire truck that they had for years. And Dewey and I, one winter, took the back utility bed off of that, and we fabricated and welded up a flat bed on that thing to put our salter on so we could salt the streets. And we pretty much built that ourselves in the wintertime down there. And then Leonard Jones was Dewey's co-worker at the time. Leonard was a great guy to work with. Yeah, I called him Leonard Green Bean Jones because he was always talking about eating green beans. But he was, yeah, we had a lot of camaraderie back then with these guys, and you enjoyed coming into work, and it was fun, you know, working with these guys because they were good guys. And my old buddy Tony Langley, who worked out at the cemetery and probably never got the credit that he deserved for how hard of a worker he was, but he was a really hard worker. And you could be having the worst day in the world, nothing going right, and you could go visit Tony, and all of a sudden your mood would change and you were laughing about something. That's just how Tony was. So I enjoyed working with him. you know, I got to thank Carolyn Chapel. I've worked with Carolyn, field inspector, you know, IDEM for 30 years, you know, and we've had a really good working relationship and been able to work through a lot of problems that we've had water-wise with Knightstown. And she's been lenient in some ways, and, you know, some ways she's been hard on us, but all in all, I've had a good working relationship with her. And I hope the next person that comes in can continue with that. I know she's approaching retirement too. We talked about that the last time I talked, so I don't know how much longer she's gonna do it, but she's been good to work with. I don't know if, did Sarah leave?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to talk about Sarah a little bit. I worked with her real closely for, I mean, she did an 8-year term. I believe she did back-to-back terms, so we worked together for 8 years. And when somebody calls you every other day, you get pretty tight with them, you know, and I really love Sarah to death and respect her, and her and I accomplished a lot, I felt like, in her 8 years with us. And again, you know, I want to thank the girls in the office. I can't say enough about what they've done. In my time with the town, I've seen 13 chiefs of police.
Wow.
In 32 years, there's been 13 chiefs of police. And to me, I think that's ridiculous. You know, you need to find the next Andy Griffith. I think John's your man. I think he does a great job. I think everybody likes him, you know, but to try to sustain some stability in that department would be great. And I just want to thank you guys. I appreciate everything.
Thank you, Randy.
That's pretty much all I got. If you got any questions. You know, I think I can walk out of here tonight and feel pretty proud about what I've been able to do. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah, stick around for a picture afterwards.
Yeah, there you go.
This you can find anything. That's the best picture you can find ever.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. You need a new one.
So the water audit,
So, sorry.
we did the water audit with Gordon.
Oh, yeah.
Went from 55% loss down to 48% this audit.
So is that with the water, the fix, or that not included?
That should not include it.
Yeah. That's good. So it should drop a lot more. Yeah.
Yeah,
By the way, thank you for doing that. I heard Randy said we've always had to pay for that. And you guys did a great job.
It was easy to.
Stole your thunder, sorry.
I took lots of.
You got some help too, yeah, I know.
Yeah, we had a couple other deadlines that we had to meet with letters, letting Copper that, you know, they got out, and then we had a 7-page regulatory commission report that we had a day to do, and Roxanne and I got that done, so we've got everything that needed to be done, completed, water-wise.
Perfect. Thank you. All right, let's,
HWC.
I noticed it for some reason didn't get on the agenda, unless I'm missing it. I'd like to take care of the town manager hiring.
It's on
Is it on there? Where is it?
update, maybe this.
Can we do
Oh,
HWC?
I see it, just job positions, okay.
Can we do HWC?
Yeah,
first?
let's go ahead and take
Yeah.
Brian, HWC. Good idea, thank you for reminding me.
Just to let you know, Roger, because you have your Washington Street corridor project
Yep.
update in there too.
Yep.
You have 2 bids for those trees.
I saw those,
in there.
I saw them, thank you. Thank you, sir. Do you need one?
Thank you.
See how this goes. There's been a lot going on, so I tried to get each of
Thanks.
our team members to just kind of put a summary together. And Bart, for you, if you look at that, it's trying to give you a little bit of a heads up as to where things would be billed to. Because I think we finally have all that figured out. Basically, water, wastewater, you heard most of that, but things that they had worked on was the compliance letters in both sides. I know that they had worked, you guys have had several phone calls on working with.
I do have a question, I'm sorry to interrupt.
Yep.
Dick sent the email about getting our report sent back out. Did you guys get that sent back out? Yes. Okay, I didn't get a copy, I don't think, but okay. Just want to make sure, thank you, appreciate that.
But I know they were out visiting. I was here for part of that, but a ton of work just trying to figure out and talk to manufacturers, and they too have been very impressed with Emily. Not that you're not impressive, Randy, but it is pretty wild to see somebody new come in and take the reins. So kudos to her as well. The transportation, that update to Scott Neal, I was supposed to delete, so if you'll please just ignore that. He is the CCMG part right below that. So they are currently preparing preliminary cost estimates. Harrison, Madison, Silver were, I think, 3 of the main ones they're looking at. They'll come back, yes.
On that topic, I'm hearing that because the gas tax is not being collected, that CCMG grant's gonna be way lower this fall. Are you hearing that?
They had another thing that came out saying they were making, I don't know,
Make it up.
they're making it
Oh, they
right
are?
with
They're gonna
some
keep
other
the amount?
funding source.
Okay, good. All right.
That's the
Well, I did see they have $6 billion, so.
Yeah, they got a giant surplus.
That doesn't last very long.
No, I know it.
And the other thing to follow along is Indianapolis gets 50 million if they match it with 50, and there was an announcement where they
They don't have it?
weren't going to do that. So if that's the
Okay.
case, that 50
More
is
money.
spread out.
All right.
So I think we still feel decent about it. It's still gonna be
Okay,
very
good.
competitive, but.
Excellent.
Yep.
That's great.
Let's see what else I have there. Scheduling on-site inspection for the PAMP, or the Pavement Asset Management Plan. If you hear us say PAMP, that's what that is. And working to schedule an in-person meeting to go over ADA. I assume is that with you, Roxanna?
Yes.
Okay. The water system, I know that they also, recognizing Randy will be leaving soon, and we actually saw that. And again, congratulations on a solid run, like Reggie Miller with the same team that long is pretty impressive. And then the last thing, Washington Street, there's 3 different updates there. First of all, do you already have that on, where you'll be speaking about that here in a second. All they wanted me to talk about is the art component with Bomar. There was a recommendation letter, I think, that hopefully all of you got yesterday. That, if you can take action on tonight, would be wonderful. July 27th is the rebid opening. So that is just, if I'm not mistaken on that, Roger. And that's where you just need people to get together, open it, read it.
According to Eric, there's not a requirement for a quorum.
Yep.
We just need to be here. Somebody needs to be here.
Yep, be there, accept
I'll
it.
be here. If somebody else wants to come, great. We'll open those bids that night.
And then it sounded like then hopefully that following week you may be trying to get together for that rebid award.
Yeah, that'll be the thing we'll want to do, is actually get, hopefully, an approval to get things started, right?
So here, if any of you, or I know Randy had mentioned last time, this is the perfect time to make some follow-up calls to folks that you know
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
should have that in their
You
hands
know,
and make sure
local
they're.
concrete contractors, please ask them to bid. I've made a few calls. Unfortunately, I haven't spoken to anybody yet, so I'm gonna keep making some calls, so.
And Eric did say he had some activity there. If you have local people, phone number, email, that you want to make sure that we are getting the information out to them, we just want to be very helpful if we can in that. But that would be again, August 3rd would be the decision. That 27th meeting, I do believe I am going to be out for vacation that week, but I've already talked to Eric, and he does plan to attend that meeting for you.
Okay.
Any questions, concerns, thoughts? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you.
right.
So,
Thank you.
And then you'll be diving into.
we're gonna do it right now. So we need to address the arts quote and make a decision. The proposal, if you look at that page, it's right on the front page. The Bomar Industries quote for the Hoosiers Made Here sculpture, $127,500. We would like to propose that we approve that quote and accept it so they can get started on that part of the project. The other parts of that project are on hold until we see what remaining dollars are available. So I need a motion to approve that part of the project.
Make a motion to approve the Bomar Industries quote for the Hoosiers Made Here sculpture.
All right, is there a second?
I will second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, thank you.
Roger, I have one last thing.
Okay.
So everybody else is up to date. I know you were notified. I'm not sure if they did. We were going after LEI Arts grant that unfortunately we did
Oh,
find out
thank
that
you for
did
mentioning
not
that. I
happen.
forgot.
In this region of 9 counties, there was only one project awarded. It was like $4 million for a performance arts, something in the Muncie area. So you weren't alone in groups in this region that didn't get that, but I just thought that had been mentioned, so if somebody was wondering about that. And then we'll pay special attention to this bid, and if they would come under, then hopefully that would be something that could fill
Free
in
up some money, hopefully.
and add some of that. So, sorry, I just want to give everybody that.
Yeah, that's good, thank you. All right. All right, next item is a resolution for worthless property body cameras. This is what,
Yeah.
Before you do that, do you wanna do your trees?
Yeah, the trees.
oh, okay.
For your Washington Street?
So, yeah, so we do have 2 bids to take down trees on Washington Street there to basically take care of the problems where the concrete is being pushed up. One of those bids looks like $8,100. The other bid is $5,000.
That's,
So these are trees between Warwick
Warwick
and
and
Brown.
Washington.
This is work and carry.
Yeah, Brown and Carey.
Brown and Cary, okay, well, they wrote it wrong. You're gonna need to make sure it says Warwick and Cary on Connor Smith's, which is the low bid.
It also says it on
And on,
Bad
Well, the main-
Ash.
The main trees that he's taking down
Are
that are
between,
Warwick and Carey.
yeah,
But there's some that need to be trimmed up down on Brown Street.
okay.
It's just
This
small.
says removal, this says remove,
Yeah, he's gonna cut them, remove them, grind the stumps.
okay.
Yeah. 3 trees are huge.
The 3 big ones are the ones, right?
Didn't we already do this?
We cut trees farther north down by the Hoosier Gym. So these are up basically mostly on the Brown to Cary, or Brown
And all
to
the trees down
Warwick.
through there were bad, and they had the sidewalks mowed up. If you're gonna do that project,
Yeah.
try it with new sidewalks.
Yeah, this actually cuts possibly some of the cost. We didn't really confirm that, but otherwise they would have to do a lot of grinding and there would be some extra people needed to come in and assess all this, so we wanted to get these taken care of. Is there a motion to, I assume, go with the $5,000 bid?
I will make a motion to approve the quote for 5,000 from Connor Smith.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Kevin, a second.
Yes. Yes. Okay, now we're back to the resolution.
Okay.
071626.
Resolution 071626, a resolution regarding the worthless property and the disposition thereof. And so this is in regard to the chief's comment earlier about transferring the outdated body cam equipment to Carthage. Statute says you can do that by way of a resolution if you declare the property to be worthless, which it is. And then Carthage has to adopt a similar resolution, and John's aware of that as well. And as soon as he gets a copy of that, he can give it to Bart, and then he can transfer the equipment and let Bart know what is being transferred so he can get it off of the capital asset list, assuming it's on there. So, happy to answer any questions, and if not, it just takes a single motion to approve.
I'll make the motion, we approve resolution number 071626.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so next item is building inspector, our current building inspector, Ben. I will say that, you know, Ben has, as most everybody knows, done a phenomenally good job of taking care of not just inspecting all the new development in town, but also being the zoning administrator and handling all the BZA things that need handled. That is a part-time job. Ben would probably dispute that.
Yeah, I think so.
So at the end of last month, which was supposed to be Ben's retirement date, I called him and asked him if he would continue for up to 30 days. He agreed to do that, but also asked for basically some additional, an additional $500 basically for the month. So this is a consultant agreement needed to basically hire him for an additional period here. And that includes this amount. I haven't read this, so.
The information I got from Bart was it's $500 a paycheck, not $500.
Yeah,
I
that's
thought it
what
was
I thought.
$250 a paycheck.
500 a pay.
It
Biweekly, 250?
went from 18.
Or 500 biweekly?
He said 500
Biweekly, yes.
Okay, I'm good with it.
Okay, that's the
He's
way
been
I'm
well
reading it.
underpaid for a long time, so
Okay.
I'm not gonna
All
quibble
right,
over
I
it,
just wanted
so.
to make sure we're on the same page.
Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
All right, so,
And this is similar to the contract that you had with Rick when he retired and then came back.
Yep.
The difference being, he stayed off 30 days because he wanted to collect his
right,
pension, and he couldn't come back if
Mhm.
he couldn't get his pension if he came back sooner than 30 days. I don't think that's Ben's issue,
no.
but this
No.
is the same general language for that.
Okay,
And I sent a copy to him today. I don't know if I haven't heard from him about any comments or questions, so.
all right. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Agreement? Yep.
Agreement, sorry.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. We have a motion and a second to approve the consultant agreement for Ben as building inspector. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Okay, we need a
Roll call, please.
roll call.
Roger Hammond,
Yes.
Bruce Brown,
No.
Kevin Ritchie,
Yes.
Jeffrey Vandewall,
Yes.
Desiree Payton,
Yes.
All right,
4-1.
the ayes have it, thank you.
I do have one question. When does 30 days start and when does it end?
July 1st.
July 1st.
So the end of
So
this
we're-
month.
We're
it will
coming
end.
up on the.
Yeah, we're halfway through it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're coming up on
Yeah,
that.
that's right. That's why we're gonna be looking at hiring here, right?
Retroactive.
Okay, so that is the next item. We have a
Well,
couple
we
of,
forgot update on town job.
yeah, that's where we are.
Okay.
So,
Right.
so we have interviewed a number of people for both the town manager position and also building inspector. And so I think we want to take a vote on each of those positions. We did have one person that pulled out of the process for personal reasons. So we have two candidates for the town manager. Bruce, could you help me there with those? I left my paperwork at home on those. Those, thank you. Yeah.
And those are the numbers we
Yeah.
signed.
So I think we can probably go ahead with names since we had an adjustment, I'll call it. Okay, for the town manager, we interviewed Anthony Connor and John Mullencup. And I don't know if there's discussion or comments about, one comment I guess I would have is that a part of choosing who to bring into these interviews, a part of it, not 100%, were some people who have water and sewer licenses. That's a really big deal, I think, for the community to have somebody, not just the operator, but the person that's also managing overall, to have those licenses. So we've always got coverage. So even if, we hire one of these people, then even when Randy's gone for 30 days, we should be covered for our license period. Okay? Any discussion or comments? Is there a motion to hire one of these two gentlemen?
I make a motion to hire John
Mullen?
Mollencup.
Yeah. Okay. Is there a
Not
s-
Mellencamp.
Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Okay. So I should mention that we should set a salary since there's no salary currently defined for this position.
So it's not in the salary ordinance, is it, Bart?
It's
So you'll
not.
have
We need
amend
to
the salary.
adjust the salary ordinance to include this. So I would propose that we create a range from like 75 to 100,000. That'd be my proposal. That'd be the top. I'm not proposing that we give that amount at this point. We did have conversations and there were some numbers thrown around. I don't know what you think, but I think probably 85 is probably the best number. He was, I think that,
That needs to be, whatever amount you agree on needs to be in the motion too, so he. can
yeah,
put it in-
right. I'm saying that needs to be included in the motion, right?
Right, well, you've already had the motion to hire him, did you not?
We didn't vote.
Oh, I'm
So
sorry.
we were in in discussion time.
Can we also add, like we were talking about, the contingent on,
Yes, we should.
references, drug
Yeah, we
and
want to
background
complete
checks,
background checks and drug testing, right?
all that good stuff.
So if you would modify your motion to include salary and background checks and,
Okay, so I will make a motion to hire John Mollencup. Mollencup? Mollencup? I'm gonna say it wrong.
you got
Pending a background check, drug test, and reference check, at the $80,000.
85 is what you said, right?
I said 85. I think it's going to be difficult to get him at 80, personally. We have a motion. Do we have a second or not?
I'll second it.
At 80?
Hey,
It's 80 right now. You want a second or not?
Well, I was going to say for 85, but if it's 80, I'll second it. If everybody's in
Okay.
agreement with that.
Well, we'll find out.
Oh, yeah.
That's what we'll do. All right. Is there any conversation, discussion? Not? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That's what we're gonna do. All right, we hired John. We'll get with him. I'll call him and talk to him. We also have two gentlemen, including Anthony, who we interviewed. He did show interest also on the building inspector position. So we're including him if he wasn't hired there. And also a gentleman named Thane McGuire. So those are the two that are in front of us for building inspector.
I'll make a motion to hire Thane McGuire for building inspector on the contingency of background checks, drug testing, and references worked out, and that he accepts it.
Of course.
I will second that with the amendment that his salary is $47,000.
Okay, well, that's the.
Well, yeah, I'm
That is
just
the
saying.
salary.
That way
We
it
don't
just
need to
stays.
amend it, but, okay, that's the salary, we're not changing it, it's in the salary ordinance. Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
No? Okay. Roll call, yep.
Roger Hammer,
Yes.
Bruce Brown,
Yes.
Kevin Ritchie,
Yes.
Jeffrey Van Hoy,
No.
Desiree Payton.
Yes.
Okay, the ayes have it.
1.
All right. Next item. Not sure why we need to do this, but there's a item on the list to have a motion to waive a 90-day probationary period for
You need that.
Rick Taylor. We do need that?
You do
Okay.
that.
All right, that's fine. We've already hired him back, so we're gonna basically waive his 90-day probationary period.
I'll make that motion.
All right, is there a second?
I will second it.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. All right, claims.
And again, like I checked the
Combined.
State Board of Accounts and they do this. It's okay to have the payroll combined with the general counsel docket, just keep in mind. That's why it's all together. So, the total dollar amount for the claim is $408,759.39.
Okay. About half of that's power, huh? All right, is there a motion to approve the docket?
I'll make the motion. We approve the accounts payable docket in the amount of $408,759.39.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I did request, and we have the fund report. So, useful information. We're starting second half of the year. Take a look at the fund report.
Sorry I was so late emailing you. I just emailed it today.
Oh, you did email? Okay, I didn't see it yet.
Fund
Okay.
report and then the appropriation. And like Roxanne and I were kind of going through, we were troubleshooting some of the new software. It's not actually called appropriations anymore. They have different names, accounts and things like that, but the numbers are still there. So if any of you want to know, on the appropriation report, they're in separate emails, I tell you, but on where the municipal budget, on each one, even though it might be, called something different, that actual appropriation number still listed there, like, for example, general fund or whatever, if you wanna know the, FICA where that's paid out of, that appropriation, then you need to say 6201-001-4131.000. So the details are still there, and then the percentages are all the way to the right of that report, like that's, if you're a big picture thinker and you wanna look at like pie graphs and things, we don't have the graphs yet, Roger. I know you want them. But that gives you the percentage, and that's the main thing. So just if you want to kind of start thinking what's left, like we just talked about cemetery, whatever, 28%, 30%, that'll start to give you an idea. And, June 30th was the midway point. We're at the halfway point for the year. So most of those percentages, as a kind of a template or example you can think about, are they at 50%, halfway through the year? So that's kind of a good indicator of this appropriation report.
So do we have a total? I was just thinking. Total percent on the budget?
We can even run it different ways. We didn't put the revenues on there this time. We can.
Okay,
If you want to see
okay.
that. But yeah, like, for example, what Park brings in, for the shelter house rentals or, whatever the example. We can do that.
Yeah, I was just looking at where we are total year to date for the entire budget.
No, it doesn't have that.
Doesn't have that, okay.
It's broken.
It's by
broken
fund,
out
that's
by
fine, it's okay.
appropriation,
I mean, it's
yeah.
most important by fund, I just wondered. And the cash basis fund report,
That's pretty much like the old one. I mean, there are some changes to it.
That shows you the cash, the running cash basis.
Yeah.
And knows that's not necessarily what's appropriated.
right.
That's just the cash basis.
Mhm. So that's total cash, not necessarily appropriate, like you said, okay.
What's the forfeiture fund?
We were just, that's so.
Can we use that money to purchase a car?
That is, yes,
That's
that's
what we were
part of
just
what's
talking
in what we figured it up. Yes, it can be. So it's one of those things where it's been around for a while. And I
Well,
think I heard it's for.
I believe I know who probably got that
Yes.
fund started, but
Yes.
Not gonna name drop anybody.
Yeah, I believe it's back from when you were here, but it's just kind of been hanging out, and it gets a fee every month in its account, so I told Mark
Yeah.
I'd love to just.
Just
get
spend
rid
it,
of
yeah,
that
just spend it.
And spend it,
Mhm.
yeah, so.
Okay.
And like, you know, some of them are so old and dormant, like the continuing ed one, that was, I mean, that was when they shut the court down. You know, a lot of that money went into the continuing ed, and it's just been dwindling down, so. But that mainly should be geared toward police issues, you know, the town you own the court. I mean, you know, when it got shut down, there was mostly police, so I think that's why they ended up putting those in, like, continuing ed fund, that's how whatever was left, they put it in there, so.
Are there other financial matters?
I don't think so. Be thinking about if we wanna do a workshop, I think I emailed you guys, we think about it, if
Budget.
we wanna do that again this year.
With Janet, yeah. I think that's a good idea.
She'd be glad to do that again, okay. Usually, probably August, maybe.
Next
that'd be
month,
good.
yeah.
Okay, think about a date. We'll
Okay.
Collaborate on that.
Any additional legal matters?
No, but just a question for Bart. Bart, has the county scheduled their must meeting yet? And if so, when's that?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you. What?
Has the county scheduled the must, M-U-S-T meeting for deciding how the lit's going to be appropriated for next year or not? Because they
Not
have
that I
to
know
meet
of.
and have a report by October 1st.
Okay, I'll look for that. I'll call the auditor's office and ask them if they
Yeah.
know.
Okay.
But yeah, normally we get our distributions from the Henry County Auditor's Office, which Debbie Walker's office does that now.
But this is a meeting to discuss how
The lit.
So there'll be the
lit is
commissioners?
going to be divided next year. So,
Okay.
and how it's
That's-
gonna be
I know.
appropriated between the entities.
So would that be the commissioners?
It is.
Yeah. Okay.
So so the commissioners, I didn't know that.
Now, there's the committee, okay, and
Oh,
I
okay.
can't remember, but I know you're on it. Every entity's fiscal officer is on it, and then I think it's one commissioner and one council member. And don't quote me, I think the mayor of Newcastle would be on it too, so, but just, kind of light a fire in him, because October is not very far away.
Thank you for that.
And you should have gotten a email from AIM about a workshop on all of that. It came, I think, today or yesterday.
Yeah, that's the one you talked to me about,
If
you'd
you
like to
didn't, you
go
certainly
to.
wanna sit through that as well. It'll be helpful.
And yeah, they're gonna have, I know their annual one every year down French Lick for
Yeah, but
there's
this
a
is,
separate one.
this is for the must meeting, so to talk to about what's to be discussed and how to try to figure those things out.
And-
Basically, it's a free-for-all with everybody trying to fight for more money.
Yes.
That should be
and
fun.
Like Roger was saying, he's right about that, when it starts coming down, that our whole budget's pretty much based off of property taxes almost. I mean, if they, that changes, that's gonna dramatically change the next couple of years, so yeah.
Okay.
And Roger, if you look on page 2 of the cash basis fund, down at the bottom section where it says 3 citizens, the very top one is your water operating. The current month receipts of 41,988 is what water took in.
Oh, that's
for the
pretty
month.
high, isn't it?
So.
It's higher than typical. Seems like it is. Okay. Good and bad, I'm sure, for everyone, but, okay. Redevelopment Commission. Anything we should say?
Just that the new owners of the
Yeah.
Sonic Hall building are making good progress. They've got their sign up.
Yeah, that's nice.
And they're planning an open house next month.
What is that? It's like August
Maybe the second Sunday.
17th or something? I can't remember. Yeah. I'm sure it'll be on Facebook. Hopefully everybody can find it.
Are there any details about the special election
Oh,
provided?
It's supposed to be on August 25th. It's gonna be at the Methodist Church, so that's good.
From 6
They have the
a.m. to
details,
6
same setup, yeah, the time is 6 to 6.
People can vote early too, right? Bart?
I'm not sure how that's gonna actually be set
I
up.
saw it on something that
Currently,
was
maybe you know, I'm not even sure about the early voting, but I think the set,
Well, it was posted in the Courier, but
Yeah, it was in the Courier, I posted it, it's on both chatter pages. There's a lot of times to vote. There's LM voting.
Oh, really?
absentee, there's
Really?
a
Yeah.
lot of
Okay.
times to vote. No one should miss voting.
That's right, if they want.
Yeah.
All right, anything else, anyone? Before we adjourn? We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone, and we made it at 8:59. I didn't want to go past 9 o'clock.
8:59.
That was a long one.
Can we get Randy